Evening, guys. Sorry about that. Intertech was playing me up again. Had to change my passwords. Always does it at the last minute when you're busy, doesn't it? What a nightmare. Good evening, Katrina. Lovely to see you, gorgeous. How you doing? So I do apologise. I did a bit of yeah. So there we go. Yeah, usual nightmare. You're sitting there about 15 minutes beforehand. You go, right, let's check everything. Position the camera, position the dog, let him have a wee, poo, and all the rest of it. Get everything ready, get all your notes sorted, and all the rest of it. And then you go, 10 minutes to go, YouTube, and go live. Change your password. What is your Google? Verify your account. Blah, 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 blah. You're sitting there, you start flapping panic. Oh, nightmare.
See, if I'd been, you would have still been trying to get on.
Yeah, and if it hadn't been for Kaz, I'd have been sitting here probably sobbing right now. Sobbing gently into my beard. Okay. Lee Michael, hey up, lad. That's elbow, edge of table, elbow, wrist, edge of table.
Oh. Sort of half in.
FU crew, hey, you're early. How you doing, mate? Hope you're all good. Right, can we move over a little bit?
It's like, yeah.
How's that? If I move over a little bit, how's that?
Yeah, because your arm was stopping me from moving.
I do apologise, my love. Oh, right, so hopefully you've all had a great week. Hi, how's it going,
Good evening,
Stephen?
all.
That's how remembered. I think I've got it right. Anyhow,
yes.
Hope you're all good. Hope you've had an awesome week. As you gather this week, I do apologise, didn't get main video up. It went a bit mental. Mental, chicken oriental, and it went mental right up until this evening. Good evening, Gary. Hope you're good, my friend.
Good evening, Gary.
So, welcome to the pub. We're in the pub. Yeah, get my landlord gear sorted out. Evening all. No, that's a copper.
Fanta tonight.
Fanta for Gaz tonight. Merry down for me tonight. Right, simple old basic cheap cider. And we're trying a new thing tonight. So rather than have the focus set, tonight the focus is set to automatic, if I can say it. Automatic. So hopefully we will stay in focus. And when I move things nearer further away, it should stay in focus. We'll see how it goes. Ooh, nice. Right, so we'll see how that goes. Right. Coke for you, Gary. Yeah, I was going to stay on the softies tonight. However, this week has been a bit of a hectic
Good and tug.
Yeah. Good and tug, yes. This has been a heavy week for me, or a nightmare of a week for me. And for those people that were involved in this week that may be hearing that, it's not your fault. It's just the way life goes.
Hi, Ian.
Okay. Hi, Ian, mate. So, yeah, suffering a little bit with the aches and the pains and the meds this week, which has made my joints a little bit stiff, painful and uncomfortable.
Oh my God, he's tripping.
Not on my channel. I don't do that.
There's young eyes in the back.
Young eyes, be blinded. Yeah, so I helped my mum this week. Me and Jace went over, shifted, worked out 2,000 kg of material. Bulked out a garden for her, then got the ferry back. So that was an early start, late finish. Day before, upwards with the guys, maintenance day. We do 2 or 3 of those a year, and it is basically shifting logs, felling damaged or dangerous old trees. We've got a guy comes in that's a tree feller, does all the assessments for us, and basically he knocks them down, we haul them out the way. Built a couple of new bits of furniture for the guys up the woods, or help them build it. So basically it's a mucking day, but it's an on your feet lugging stuff all day. Like I say, following day over to the Isle of Wight, helped my mum out. Got back from that. We had yesterday was an admin home, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. Friday was an admin home day. And then Saturday it was up the woods, crack of dawn, and get a fire lit. And basically I've had a wonderful weekend. So I've spent a weekend with a scout group. So I would like to say, if any of them are here watching tonight, Surrey Heath District Explorer Scouts, you're excellent, guys. I had a wonderful time. Learned lots from you. Hopefully you learned a bit from me. And again, that's a give back. That's me trying to give a little bit back of my knowledge and my life to young people that are starting out on theirs. Okay, giving them some tips and ideas, not in a pushy way. I don't sit there, same as I run the channel. It's not I'm an expert, you will listen to me. I'm not one of those speakers. I sit there and I go, do you know what, guys, this is how I've dealt with this and how I dealt with that. This is how I create fire. This is how I move on. This is my mental ethos. This is how I looked at it when I was your age, and this is how I look at it now.
Evening,
and again,
John.
Yeah, we had a wonderful time. Go a real good natter. And again,
Yes.
I learned things from them.
Pub's open, but
Yeah. Anyway, so, and I learned things from them. And I will say this much, sorry, Heath District Explorers Scout guys, okay, if you're the future of this nation or the world, if your generation, you 14 and 15-year-olds are the future we've got to look through, we'll be all right. Yeah, your attitudes were brilliant. I liked your ideas. I liked the way you looked at things. I liked some of your attitudes. Yeah, brilliant. Keep it up. Keep pushing that way. You know, well, I feel quite happy to be a little old man with you in charge of the country, because it was quite refreshing.
I didn't have their heads in the phones all the time.
Didn't have their heads in their phones. It was
Good evening, Jason. Here's someone.
Interesting talking to them. It seems to be that the next generation, the up and coming generation, is technology savvy, but it's got a bit fed up with it. You know, they don't want to be constantly in their phone. They were actually sitting there having conversations, not just with me, but with one another. And you overhear the conversations, and they are sensible conversations. It wasn't the sort of thing I was talking about when I was 15, which, to be honest with you, was pants. They were a good bunch of guys. So, and every generation changes. Yeah, every generation changes. Anyhow, I'm going to pour myself a nice ice cold cider because, like I say, 2 days of that, dawn till dusk. No vampires.
Yeah, Benny, I did notice that it's been a bit damp down your woods. Last few videos, poor devil.
Yeah. We were lucky. Last 2 days we haven't had any rain here, but it's been cold. Not quite as cold as it has been up north, but I did get up this morning. There was ice on the windscreens of the vehicle. Had to go out, give that a scrape, give it 10 minutes to start up. Cheers to you all, and get ready to push on. As I said on the short this week, Port Wild. Yeah, he's won the stop, relax, reset, start again. He's won the prize, and that's off to him. So that should be with him soon, next few days.
We're on the way to the
1,000
subscribers.
So we've got 1,000 subscriber. That's going to be coming up. What do you want for that? We're going to do another pouch, same sort of pouch. We're going to kit that out. Do you want it more first aid? Do you want it more bushcraft or more survival?
Or
50-50 like the last one. Let us know. And then we will endeavour to get that sort of kit, and pack it out. And it will be then offered up to one of you 1,000 out there and sent out. And again, it's a giveaway. It's a thank you. It's a bit of appreciation.
Lee, it would have been very nice for the homeless last night. It was really windy and rain, and yeah,
it would have been a bit rough last night. But right, anyhow, I'm just going to have a quick breeze back through this. Yeah, I won't give you evening in. Katrina already had a vodka and coke, don't blame you.
Pumpkin soup.
Pumpkin soup.
Not as much as I like pumpkin pie. I love pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
I never tried it before until our daughter-in-law, she's Czech, and she made us pumpkin pie. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's delicious. Yeah, it's that time of year, isn't it? It's the autumn stuff starting to come in.
Evening, Sam.
Stews. Okay. Good, honest, hearty grub. Stick to your rib scrub. All right.
You can save me some, Katrina. She's making some.
She's making some
for Halloween. Yeah.
And it's that time. The evenings start drawing in. So the evenings start drawing in. It's getting a bit darker, a bit quicker, and it makes it more social. Okay. It's time you start cuddling up on the sofa. It's time you start putting that fire on. You start relaxing. You start chilling down a little bit earlier. You tend to find here, I don't know about everybody else, but me personally, summer months, I'm active until it's dark. So, You
Yes,
know,
please.
I'm up at 4 in the morning and I'm pretty much on the go right the way through, sometimes till 10:30 at night. And then I hit the sack and I sleep through. Winter months, it's almost my reset because I'm getting to sort of 7 o'clock in the evening and I'm like, huh, huh, huh.
Oh, that's nice, Steve. So his
And
wench is going to subscribe as well.
excellent. Thank you very much, my friend. His wench, is that how he described that?
Oh, I bet it does. I
Yeah.
made a carbonara tonight, which I fed to Mick and Jason. But
yeah, that was lovely. I mean, come back from the woods, it was cold. It'd been a long, cold day, long time on my feet. And again,
long Germans.
those of you that have had knee injuries and that will understand what I'm saying. I've got that knee problem at the moment where occasionally I keep overflexing it. So like it folds back on itself and you get that almighty stabbing pain. Makes climbing stairs and walking slopes a little bit uncomfortable. But again, what can you do? I've done it to myself. It's something I'm going through in my life. Push through it, push on, manage it. Had a nice hot shower. And this evening was quite funny. It's like, get in, eat pasta, have shower, go online. Pretty much. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, a bit mental, I'm afraid.
Yes, it won't be long for you, I'd say.
Yes, and fire and snow is awesome. Absolutely brilliant.
It's the time of year for a big German sausage where we get them up in our Christmas market, don't we?
Yeah, we like a big German sausage, don't we?
Yeah. Bratties.
Bratties. And I like it. And again, I like a garlic sausage. Yeah, stinks the house out, doesn't it? I do love a good garlic sausage. How do you guys like your sausage? Are you? And I know some of our guys abroad won't get this, but are you what's that one? The paste one, the Irish one, sausages. What's it like?
Oh, Richmond sausages.
Richmond, that's it.
Yeah,
are you
pinkies?
Are you a Richmond sausage person, or are you a chunky country sausage person? I.e., with nice big lumpy bits in it, loads of parsley and all the rest of it. What sort of person are you? Which do you prefer? Me personally, I like the chunky sausage. I like a meaty sausage. I like a sausage with plenty of texture, plenty of flavour, lots of herbs, that sort of thing. Cumberland,
yeah, definitely. The cold weather, pains do start my arthritis, and that is giving me
Cumberland with lots of pepper in it. Okay, yeah, and a good onion gravy and some mash.
No, Jason, did you mean no?
No, Jason doesn't like chunky. He's a Richmond man, isn't he?
He said you've read the H out, and it says a very rude word with a Y on the end.
Old ancient dry rot. Lincolnshire sausages, yeah, bit of flavour. Benny, I wouldn't know. I've never been to Thailand. I have a friend that does, or has been, and yes, he had that surprise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Reach for a pasty and got a sausage instead.
Yeah, I like. Excuse my wife.
Yeah, it should be banned. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't like over processed food. I mean, I know sausages, bacon, it's all processed, but I like to feel a little bit of texture, a little bit of flavour. I like to feel that I am eating a bit of meat. Not something that's been recovered from a machine.
Yeah.
But again, everybody's different. Some people don't. Some people really don't like a chunk, what I call a chunky sausage. They prefer something that is a bit more of a processed.
Like peanut butter, you like smooth.
Yeah, you like smooth crunchy. Or you like crunchy. It's one or the other, isn't it?
You don't like the one with Marmite in. But that is strange. That is, yeah.
Yeah,
we did try the Marmite peanut butter and it's strange.
We did, and kind of like it. Irish sausages, Katrina.
Yeah,
and it's everybody's tasting, and it's
Cornish
the
hog's pudding.
Same thing with everything, isn't it? I mean, at the end of the day, everybody likes that has different tastes. It's what you were brought up with. It's what you're used to. It's what you like. It's what you feel comfortable. And it's that time of the year again now, isn't it? It's comfort time.
Yeah,
it's that time of year where you want something. You come in, it's cold, it's been a long day, and of course because the temperature's dropping now, your body's working harder when you're outside. For those of you that are out doing your videos or you work outdoors, got to think about that. It's no good coming back in now and thinking, yeah, I can get by with that lettuce sandwich that I've been eating all summer. That was fine. As soon as that temperature starts dropping, your body starts working overtime, trying to generate heat and the rest of it. You're burning off more calories. So yeah, treat yourself. We are lucky, aren't we?
We get sausages with black pudding in. We get them with apple.
Yeah.
Apple and bacon. We get them with
cheeses in.
Yeah, cheese. We get chorizo.
Then you got all the traditional English traditional sausages.
And then you got the Italian ones. We get Italian herbs.
Yeah. It's pretty much, John, every county and every district, pretty much every town originally at one time would have had its own butcher, and every butcher made his sausages to his own recipe. So you've got traditionals in the UK like Cumberland, and you've got Lincolnshire, you've got West Country sausages and that. So again, who is that?
Black pudding is actually, it's blood. It's a blood pudding, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a blood pudding. So basically, traditionally, way back when, it was when the pig was slaughtered, the blood was drained from the pig, and it was mixed with oatmeal, and it was mixed with the bacon fat or the pork fat from the pig. And then it was brought up to a boil, simmered for a while, and then allowed to cool down where it would thicken up along with the oatmeal and the fat. And it was okay. You know, people today sit there and they go, "Ugh, don't fancy that." But you've got to think back to a time when you didn't have the luxury of saying, "Okay, I don't like this." You basically had what was good for you. You know, you needed the protein, you needed the vitamins, you needed the minerals. Good source of it from the pig, and it wasted nothing. If you spent a year, 2 years raising this animal, so all your scraps, your effort, your spare time went into keeping a pig. And keeping a pig, people often say to me today, "Oh yeah, no, they just eat scraps." Keeping a pig's a difficult thing. Pigs are very destructive. They're a nightmare. They take a lot of management, a lot of looking after. And this pig would feed your family for months and months and months on end, and you wasted none of it. They used to say that the only part of the pig that you didn't use was the squeal, because you'd use, and I'm sorry if anybody's a bit delicate, vegetarian or otherwise, do apologise best, but this is the way it was. So you'd use even the intestines for filling for your sausages. All the odds, or what they used to call the odds, which were the bits and pieces that, you know, might look a bit unsavoury or you didn't really fancy, got chopped up small, they got processed, they went into things like sausages and that. You mixed that with herbs.
Meatloaf.
Yeah. Mixed it with a bit of bread, or you mixed it with oats, or you mixed it with the local grain, stuffed it into the sausages, and quite often they were then boiled, smoked, and preserved and kept. And again, that was a method for preserving meat and sauces, even down to things like the ears and the trotters in various regions. They were cooked, okay, and used. Pigtails, the whole lot was used. You couldn't. Goes back to a time when people could not afford to waste an ounce, so they used every single available part, even down to the entire head could be boiled and produce brawn. Okay, so when they say they produce brawn, people always get this image of a whole pig's head just literally being boiled to death. Well, there's a lot of meat on a pig's head. There's things like the cheeks and the jowls, which today are an expensive delicacy in a lot of restaurants, but originally was a poor man's food. You buy a pig's head, and you strip it of all the meat, and then boil what was left. Okay, and that would make a broth or a brawn, which, because there was a lot of gelatin in there and a lot of cartilage, that would break down, and that would cause the whole lot to jellify. And again, that brawn had vegetables added, it had flavours added, and it was used. It was a way of keeping the family going for months and months and months. And they used to say that a pig would last you a year round. That's why we got good at preserving things like hams, bacons, and so on. I mean, if you think about it, bacon, a slice of bacon, well, it's a bit pants, really, isn't it? We all like a steak about that thick. We all like a bit of meat about that
thick. I'm with you there, Gary, with liver and liver. I love liver and bacon.
It was back to a time when you were semi-rationing your family to try and make that ham last. That's what taught us to cut it thin, fry it. and rather than use it as the main part of the dish, use it as an add-on. It had a lot of flavour to it. Okay, so it was all about making it go further and further and
Yeah, I
further.
suppose it is a bit confusing for you, John, because majority a pudding for us is usually a pudding, but there are certain things like Steve, we do get white pudding rarely, but we do get it. But John was just saying this is confusing because pudding over there is the dessert.
Yeah, so a pudding was something that was either steamed or boiled traditionally. When you go back to the 1800s and they talk about puddings was something that was steamed or boiled. So in the making of sausages, quite often they are boiled or they're steamed early on, then they're smoked and so on. So that's where we get that terminology from. But you are right, by today's standards, it does make it very confusing. Same thing with you guys in the States. Quite often I hear people go, biscuit, we're having biscuits and gravy. And I'm like, digestives with gravy? And of course, as you learn with time, it's more like what we would call a scone, okay, with gravy. Yeah, and it looks quite. When I first heard about it, I was like, really skeptical. But actually, do you know what? Quite fancy giving that a go. Sounds really nice. So yeah,
I like faggots. They used to be pig and duck, didn't it? And then it more went to pig. So it's like a meatball of pigs.
Yeah, it was
awful. Sort.
Yeah, again, it poor man food. So faggots are I don't know if they get.
I don't like the ones in gravy. I like them. So you just slice them,
dry faggot,
grill them.
Right. So you have in Scotland, you have haggis, and if
like
in the West Country we have a faggot. Now, basically, it's the same thing. It was a way of using offal. Okay, in Scotland they had oats, so they mixed it with oats. Down at this end of the country, in the West Country, they usually mixed it with breadcrumb, and it would be stale breadcrumb. So, basically,
they wrap it in.
Yeah, this I can't remember the name of it now, but it's actually the lining of the diaphragm of the pig. Yeah. Okay. Coil, kale. Jason will know. So basically, it was you took the heart, the liver, the kidney, okay, bits and pieces that a lot of people won't eat. You chopped them up very fine. You mixed them with herbs. You then mixed it with breadcrumb. You made basically a meatloaf and you baked it. Okay. And then it would be served either cold in slices or it could be served hot, again, in slices. And after a day or two, you could cut it in slices and you could fry it. So, again, it was a way of using everything that was available and making it go further. You know, after all, when you look at the heart, the liver, and the kidneys, an immense amount of goodness and an immense amount of flavour, but they're not that bigger item.
Yes, I know, yeah.
So by the time you've actually blended it, which is how you would do it today, or how I do it when I do my recipe is quite simple. I take 2 hearts, 2 livers, 2 kidneys, 4 eggs, 1 pack of Paxo stuffing, whole lot, right? All the meat goes into a blender, gets blended for about 30 seconds, stuck in a bowl, crack in 4 eggs, 2 packs of Paxo stuffing, garlic, salt, pepper, herbs, whatever you fancy there. Butter a dish, turn it out into the dish, fall over the top, bake that for 45 minutes. Take it out, let it cool slightly, cut it in slices and serve. If you're a person that likes offal and the strong flavour of offal, you'll enjoy it. If you're not, it's not going to be for you.
I suppose you can't say, well, I believe that faggot is another word for, isn't it a measure of?
Yes.
It's a measure of hay or corn
right. So go back. I explained this to somebody today actually because I said faggot and they went, "Well, you can't say that." No, yeah. So a faggot was a cord. It was a cord of timber. Now a cord of timber is normally a measurement of length and thickness of sticks. Okay, a faggot is fine sticks. It was usually things like hazel tips. Well, after you'd harvested the hazel from the coppice, the very tips weren't a lot of use. So you bundle them up, you'd let them dry, and it makes something that gives a lot of heat very, very fast and is easy to light. They were used under what we used to call coppers, which was basically like a big copper boiling dish, right, or pan, about 3 foot across and about 3 foot deep, and that was where you did your washing, okay? That would go in that with water, you'd light a fire underneath it, and you'd literally bring the whole lot up to a simmer, and then bring it back down. It sterilised or cleaned the clothing, basically killed off any bacteria or anything that was in it. But also the faggots were used in old cook systems, old ovens, They were used in basically a simple fire pit oven because it produces a lot of heat very, very fast and quite intense. And you would light the tip and then feed the faggot from the floor in. So again, it'd be about a metre long. And as it burnt down in the fire hearth, you just tap it in, tap it in, tap it in. And when that one's done, the next one starts in as well. And then you tap that one in, tap that one in. And actually, you go a very controllable heat system. Okay. If any of you have ever seen Russian ovens, think of a Russian oven or Russian oven and Russian cooker. Put the fire pit on the floor, and that's how it was done originally in the UK. And again, that fire pit would be made of earth, or it would be made of brick, or it would be made of stone. And the idea was you weren't just heating the oven itself, but you were heating the whole structure, which would be very thick. And in the winter months, even after your fire was out, that material retained heat, released it slowly into the building. And the same thing with chimneys. Brick chimneys are designed in the UK originally to go up the inside of a wall rather than the outside. So in the winter months, that fire downstairs, the heat would travel through that brickwork inside the room upstairs and heat the other rooms. So again, faggot was a bundle of
Hey, Gary, that
fine
sounds
twigs.
nice with beef and mince, and also keep.
Yeah, bunch of sticks, bunch of twigs.
So
Yeah.
yes, the cold is
Even
coming in.
Sorry, mate.
I said it low to him.
Matt, up the woods Wednesday, mate. If you're available. Yeah, where else was we going? So we've done faggots. Any other questions? Any other queries? Any other wonderings? I've swig of my cider actually. I've been talking all day, solidly for 2 days. So the jaw's aching a little bit and the throat's a bit dry.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Again, but that's the sort of thing I enjoy, and that's the sort of thing I was enjoying sharing with the cadets,
No, I was
scouts.
talking to Lee.
Yeah.
I was answering Lee.
Oh, sorry, love. Sorry, love. Sorry, Lee. I'll let Kaz take over.
No, I just said it. You were saying about it. Don't clean your chimneys; it can bust.
Yeah, soot can combust. Yeah, it's a basically everybody always thinks they always think. I mean, you all know this, Lee, and most of you probably know it's soot. You look at soot and you think, yeah, it's carbon. Okay, but it's unburnt materials and dead particles, and with a lot of woods that you burn, they give off oils. If you burn coals, it gives off tar. That then clings to the soot, and eventually you end up with quite a flammable surface up there.
Max said yes, because he needs a break from decorating.
Yeah, no problem, mate. No problem.
And Ken, John asked me, have you had a chance to try your bivy yet?
I have. I've had a sneaky with it, yes, and I did like it. I'm planning on doing a bit of a video about that, so I don't want to say too much because it's gonna don't want it to get out. But
so Mac is looking me up, saying to you, "Oh, do you want to help decorate the dining room?"
A bivvy's a game saver, especially for an old fart like me that can't struggle out of a UK bivvy as easy as he used to. I also acquired a book. Actually, popping over to see my mum. Now, it's quite a funny thing. My mum, being a vegetarian, has been a vegetarian for many years, but she loves the cooking and catering, and will quite often and happily prepare meat for other people, except for her son normally. Normally, I get a veggie meal, but Jason came with me this time, so we had a bacon quiche, which was a bit of a surprise. But she gave me this book, Grains, Beans and Nuts, okay, which initially I thought, bloody vegetarian book, isn't it? But it's not. It's got a lot of meals and meat dishes in it, but it's the meals are based on grains, beans, and nuts, and recipes that are going back over hundreds of years. Okay, which I found quite fascinating. I was looking through them, and some of them
I'm ignoring that, Jason.
are basically meals and menus, as Jason looked through it himself, 1800s and that, simple dishes. And I was looking through it and I was thinking, there's quite a few in here that I might actually give a go on the channel. There's one that caught my eye. As you all know, I like my pearl barley.
Now Jason does now, because we always put pearl barley in our stews and that, so he's got used to it now.
I even found out what a succotash was. Succotash. Suffering succotash. Mm-hmm. Yes, I found out what that is. Okay, so that is a corn dish. Oats. Come on, barley. Right. So, how about this? How does this sound to you guys for one to do on the channel? We got a bacon, sausage, and barley soup. That done with a bit of a nice savoury bannock with cheese and that in it as a dipper. That sounded quite good to me. But again, and it goes through caches and things like that. So again, lots of recipes, old traditional recipes that are worth, in a lot of cases, can come across to the survival side.
Your mum's been a vegetarian for many, many years, isn't
Yeah,
she?
my mum has been.
She makes vegetarian sausage rolls, and they are out of this world. It tastes a bit like sage and onion stuffing, don't they?
Yeah.
With flaky pastry, it's really nice.
Yeah. Again, and that was the thing, as I said the other day, do I do a little bit more cooking? It seemed to me that I got a lot more views. A lot of people came and looked at the cooking video that maybe didn't normally look at the channel, maybe to have a chuckle at the idiot that was trying to do a stew. So maybe we do that sort of thing.
Or ham hocks.
Ham hocks. Oh, yeah. There's another meat dish. Just cook it down.
Yeah, it's getting that time of year for that sort of thing now, isn't it? It's have to stick to your ribs, as my gran used to say.
Yeah. And again, getting back to old cooking, see, we've gone through a stage where everything seems to be like individual meat portion, vegetable portion, and so on. But when we look back through books like this, and we look back through history, our ancestors, soups and stews, that was their main meals, really, because it was an easy way of cooking. It was a safe way of cooking, and you didn't have to panic with it. Cornbread, John. Yeah. Yeah. So I've never made cornbread. I've seen a few recipes for it, and I've got a recipe here for it. So yeah, it'd be interesting in giving that a go.
Yeah, it was just.
Well, my mum agrees with that. Me and Jace were chatting to her. My mum obviously has been in catering over the years, and she said, as a vegetarian herself, the one thing that really pisses her off is when something is marketed to a vegetarian as a vegetarian chicken such and such, right? Now, we brought this up, and we actually said to her,
with no chicken.
Jay said, well, vegetarian sausage rolls, that annoys him. And Mum looked at him and said, yes, but you've got to remember a sausage wasn't always meat. All the sausage means is something, a casing stuffed with something that is first boiled or cooked and so on. So sausage can be vegetables, it can be vegetarian, and it was a way of using scraps, whatever you had left from whatever was available. And a vegetarian diet, okay, so I'm not a vegetarian, I love my meat, okay, but again, if you're looking at survival lifestyle, or you're looking at getting by in an emergency situation, quite often you're also going to have to look at what's available, nuts, vegetables, and so on. Okay, if you can combine them with a squirrel, absolutely yummy. If you combine them with a rabbit, even better. If you can combine it with a hare, num-nums. And if you combine it with any form of venison, oh yeah, delicious. So again, but it's just an adaptation of the ways to go. And I'm very interested in a lot of the older recipes, because I think it's time for that sort of thing to come back.
Yeah, Gary was just saying he found a Mrs. Beaton's from 1950s book at a car boot sale for 10p.
Yeah,
can't beat Mrs. Beaton's. My granny used to have Mrs.
And
Beaton's.
we've gone through a period in society over the last probably 30, 40 years where everybody's told us to eat this, it's healthy, eat that, it's healthy, don't eat butter because it's bad for you, don't eat this because it's bad for you. And now they're all starting to turn around and actually go, do you know what? Yeah, well, maybe some of the modern stuff isn't as good for you as they reckon.
Another thing is life sometimes it shops encourage you
to I agree with you. Why?
Buy food already prepared for you.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better than starting from scratch and starting with a packet of meat, some vegetables, pulses and things like that. And like I say, Lee, making a homemade beef stew and bread.
Yeah.
You just can't beat
simple
it.
filling dishes, isn't it? It's simple and it's comfort food.
It does fill you up. Whereas you go to get a burger, and 5 minutes later you sort of.
Well, it's like my mum doesn't understand vegetarian burgers. She said, "Why do they call it a vegetarian hamburger, or why do they call it a vegetarian beef burger? Because it's not." She said, "And a burger is not a burger, right? It's a beef patty, or it's a pork patty." She said, "Why don't you just call it a vegetable patty or vegetarian patty?" And as my mum says, it doesn't actually do true vegetarians a disservice. Now, my mum will prepare meat for other people. My mum will cook meat for other people. My mum's personal thing was that she had a situation one day where she come across something that was very traumatic, and she'd been around farming a lot of her life, and she come across something very traumatic that made her feel that personally she could not consume the flesh of another animal. Okay, personal choice. She never forced it on me, my brothers, my father, or anybody. She would cook meat for us. She would actually say, "This is healthy. Have this," you know. But for herself, that was her own lifestyle choice, and she's looked into the nutrition side of it, and she does admit that it's not necessarily the best diet. You know, things like soya. Oh, they're always banging on about soya. Or if you're a guy, you don't want too much soya in your diet. Yeah, right? It doesn't help you with your manliness. Okay, it's not very good for you that way.
Yeah, Ray. What I love, I used to make it a lot for Mike and boys when they were younger. Is bacon suet pudding, and I used to pop it under the grill with grated cheese on the top to grate the cheese would melt onto it. And
I agree with you, Katrina. That's the problem, isn't it?
yeah,
To get the sales, they will lie. They will say anything to try and trick people into eating things. And the trouble is, for them, with the advent of the internet and knowledge, more information, people are becoming more and more skeptical. People like me are looking back and saying, "Do you know what? I'll make it myself.
get things
I'll
from
go to the butchers and
farmers
I'll
market.
buy the meat myself. I'll grow the veg myself, or I'll buy it, like you say, from the farmers market where I can see the quality of it, where it's
Or
grown, and
local
all the rest of it.
farms. It is, yeah.
And or I will collect it game wise, or I'll forage it, and I will make it myself because then I know what I'm eating. I know that it hasn't been in a factory that's processed it in such and such manner, or had this added or that added, or it hasn't had these additives to it."
So Sam, yeah,
Yeah.
get some of the camp books. Some of them are so simple recipe, but it's so tasty. There's nothing it warms you better than something filling and hot.
I want to do a curry. I want to do a curry up the woods. I want to do
sausage and bean hot pot. Yeah, exactly.
I want to do a nice meat curry, probably in the Dutch oven, and then make some homemade flatbreads. I've got to have a chat to Martin. I've got to pop down and see Martin because I know he's doing some control at the moment. So again, and he's chatting about. He's a nice guy, but he's a very private guy, and I have said to him in the past, "Is there any chance to come down sometime when you're out doing the control? Because I don't do control anymore myself, and you take a deer, and we'll go through the whole processing system with it." And he's always gone, "Yeah, I don't really want to be on video." Now I'm a bit more confident in my filming. I can say to him, "No, you won't be on the video. You might see your hands, might hear your voice if you want to talk us through it."
It's like the other day, we wanted something for a pudding, really, and we had some semi-skimmed and skimmed milk, didn't we, in the cupboard, and we didn't have pudding rice, but we had normal short grain rice.
Yeah.
So he made rice pudding.
Just took a bit longer, didn't it?
And what was left of it, he bagged up, and we got it in the freezer. So we want something like that. It's nice.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong, it would have cooked a lot quicker with the pudding rice, but you can do it with short grain rice. You can do it with long grain rice. It just takes a longer process to actually get it to absorb the milk. And skim milk, really, for rice pudding. Yeah,
If you had a bit of evaporated or condensed milk to put in it, it's like a bit. It would have.
Yeah.
But I quite liked it.
Bit of cinnamon.
Nice. Yeah.
And again, it sticky your ribs, make you feel good, make you smile. There's simple things, isn't it? Simple things in life. They're the things that make you laugh and smile and make you feel better. There's nothing like a good meal, especially if you've got a good friend to share it with or a loved one to share it with. You can sit there and chat about it and
I
enjoy
think
it
next
together.
time I go in, I'm going to take some apples and take the core out and fill them up with raisins and sugar and put them in foil and bake them. Baked apples.
Oh, I love baked apple. Do love baked apple. Brought home a load of pears from my mum's as well. They're nice. Do like a good pear. But again, it's just getting back to what we call old fashioned, more sensible techniques, ideas, and that.
Because
we've had the supermarkets and the big businesses around it down our throats for years now. Ready meals. Have a ready meal. Yeah, it's all in one. Everything there for you. Zap it in the microwave. 30 seconds. It's done. Ba-ding. Yeah, processed crap. That they then charge the earth for. But we get so used to having these things quickly and readily that's what we do. And then we forget and we lose the skills or we lose the patience to sit there and think, okay, this stew is going to take 3 hours. Right? Yes, it takes 3 hours. But once the 15 minutes of prep's done, it's like, just on a low heat for 3 hours. And there's nothing you've really got to do.
We've got an air fryer. Yeah. And they said you could do like joints in. And I was thinking, but for in an hour and a half, I can do a gammon or a beef joint, and they come out like
yeah, absolutely delicious. And again, it's time. We talked about it with the Scouts Day. We talked about time saving. Okay,
apple crumble.
One of the things that makes me chuckle in the modern world is how everything's got to be done quickly. But what do you do with all that time you're suddenly left with? Well, you sit in front of the box usually, or you sit there and twiddle your thumbs, or you go, I don't know what to do now. Or you go on the internet, you watch some YouTube, things like that. But in reality, you're far better off for you to actually be up physically doing something, being upright on your feet, making a meal, or doing something else, and that time taken doing that means you've not got time sitting there twiddling your thumbs, getting bored, looking at the next advert and going, oh, can I have that? It's all just sales gimmicks. It's all pressure sale to make us give them more money. What the hell's an air fryer? Okay, an air fryer.
Yeah, Gary, that's a good idea.
Basically, it's a mini oven, Sam. Basically, it's a small oven with an element in it and a fan. So basically, the theory is quite simple. Instead of heating 36 inches square, which you've got in a normal oven, to cook something that is maybe 8 inches by 6 inches, you're heating all that wasted space. Okay, that takes more energy and power. An air fryer is literally a small oven. Okay, it's a little tiny oven that you can open up. We'll take a chicken. If you want to cook chips and things like that, goes in, does work very, very well. They require less oil, less fat to cook a lot of things.
It's great for spring rolls, samosas.
Yeah, if you like things like say chips, you like your chips a bit crispy. Absolutely brilliant. They've been in the catering world, Jace was telling me, for absolutely donkey's years. Now getting marketed as the new great thing for home, but they are more energy efficient. They're a better system, again, because you're not heating up all that extra space.
All right, if you do a curry and you go into a bit of detail on what spices you use, not something.
Which one was that?
John said if you do a curry and go into a bit detail on what spices you use, not something we really do in this area.
Okie doke. So curry.
Oh dearly.
To curry something. To curry something is basically to stew it. Okay, it's an Indian stew. When the British were in India, okay, our men were becoming very, very ill, because the meat wasn't stored, preserved particularly well, became rancid and that. The locals, the Indians, have plenty of spices. Okay, they live in a climate and in an environment where they could get things like turmeric, where they could grow peppers, where they could grow. I'm trying to think of the spices that you use: turmeric, cumin, coriander. That
yeah.
all grew there quite naturally. Okay, so they produced a lot of spices and a lot of very spicy flavoured food. Now, the original Indian dishes weren't hot or weren't that hot. They were a little bit warmer than what we were used to, but they weren't mega hot. The quartermasters that were supplying the meat to the British infantry suddenly realised, hang on, if we use some of these local spices, we can stop that rancid meat from smelling or tasting quite so bad, and we can cook it a bit longer. And instead of cooking it on a grill or an open fire, which was what they were doing at that point, because they would literally give a man a ration of raw meat or salt meat, and he would go sit down wherever he could with his buddies, light a fire and try and cook it over that. Stick it in a big pot, boil the life out of it, stick some of the spices with it, and produce a curry, which they did. And the guys very, very quickly developed a taste for it. Anybody that likes spicy food, whether it be chili or curry and that, starts off normally fairly young, going, oh, it's too hot, it's too hot, it's too hot. The more you have it, the more you'll develop a taste for it and a resistance to the heat. So it got hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. When those soldiers returned home, right, they brought that whole thing home with them. They brought it back here. They said, this is great, you want to try curries? And again, it became a staple in the UK. So and it's just my basic if I'm making a curry, okay, and this is for a small curry in a pot for me, is a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of dry coriander. I'll go with paprika. I'll go with a little bit, just a pinch of cayenne, okay, a little bit of oil. I put the onions in, I soften the onions, and then I mix my spices with the onions, and I cook my spices into the onions. I'll then start to add water, right? So just a little bit of water like that, and the meat that I've already browned will then go into that. I'll let that thicken slightly so it almost becomes a paste. Okay. Then what I like to do is take that out, put it in the oven, and I'll cook it in the oven. So I've just coated it in a curry flavour. If you wanted to make it a curry and a sauce, you can then add more liquid, things like lentils, barleys, things like that, which act as a thickening agent, but they also put a bit more sort of texture to it. Okay, and then you produce a stew, and you can then add hotter spices like cayenne and that to produce the temperature for you, or coriander or cumin. Sorry, you can add turmeric to it, which is what usually gives the yellow colouring in a curry, and you just adjust those spices to your own personal taste and to the temperature you like, or you can just buy a ready-made curry spice mix, and that curry spice mix will contain most of those ingredients plus a few others. And again, you soften your onions, teaspoon of that or tablespoon of that, depending on how strong you want it. You know, that flavours your onions, that flavours your oils. You then use those flavoured oils and onions to cook your meat. Then you add moisture to it or water to it, bring it up to a stew. Add your thickening agent. My favourite thickening agent, potato. Cook your potatoes till they cut them small, cook them till they disappear, thickens up lovely, makes it really creamy. You can add things like yogurts to it. There's just 101 things you can do. And all around the world, they have curries. Okay, whether they're West Indian curries, whether they're Jamaican curries, whether they're African curries, whether they're Indian curries, whether they're Arab curries, they all exist. And it was just a way, really, originally, it's a way of cooking bad meat, making it taste good.
Yeah, sorry, Steve. I've heard of coddle. I've never actually had it myself. But yeah, I've heard of that as an Irish breakfast.
Yeah, I'm a korma man. I like it mild, but I do like things like coconut in it and that.
I like paswari naan. I love the coconut and the raisin, which is funny because I don't like coconut.
You don't like coconut, but you like paswari naan. Yeah, it's it's the same thing with a stew. You know, you take an Irish stew, okay. It was a way of being able to make a meal that sat basically on the Aga or on the stove, if need be, for days, just topping it up and using it. So you might use the meat and some of the potatoes on the first day, but the second day you could top that with a bit of moisture and anything you had. And you had a broth, you had a soup. You can make that soup last a few days, and normally you would just keep it at a good high temperature, so people would dip in.
Yeah, we used to use pita breads to do to make homemade pizzas, and we've used tortilla wraps as well.
Yeah, if you like a really thin crust pizza, tortillas, they make a nice thin crust pizza.
That's a good idea, Gary. I've heard some people use like the little Tic Tac packets to carry their spices in because they're quite thin but tall. He was saying he's got a tobacco tin with plastic test tubes in for his spices.
Yeah, and again, it's finding what you like, isn't it? So you've got to sort of experiment and be a bit adventurous. You've got to decide what works for you and what doesn't. French bread pizza. Oh yeah, crunchy French bread pizza. At the moment, I'm having a bit of a binge on bread at the moment, which isn't good for me.
Tiger bread is there's something in that the actual.
Yeah.
Someone said that there's something in the things they put on the crust to make the tiger loaf that makes it addictive.
Another reason why I'm struggling with my joints at the moment is because I'm eating too much bread, but I've just got a bit of a craving to it, and it comes back to what I'm always saying: people, listen to your body. If you suddenly find yourself craving something you don't normally eat, you'll probably find it's because you're lacking a vitamin or a mineral that your body knows is in that ingredient or in that item, and instinctively you'll crave it. Pregnant women have cravings, and it's usually because their body has recognised a lack of a vitamin or a mineral or an element, and that they will then crave that thing to get it into them. And animals do the same thing. They do the same thing. They will,
That sounds interesting, John. Sliced tortillas to make a filled chicken dumpling. Nice.
Yeah. Not on bread with melted cheese on it. Oh yeah. Do like cheese. Cheese grommet. Do like a bit of cheese.
I must get some rice pudding out of the freezer now because I keep thinking about it.
You'll know what we're having for supper tonight then.
Yeah, is it Sainsbury's call it giraffe bread, don't they?
Yeah.
So it's not the same. And I do like a bit of Philadelphia on it.
Yeah. And when I did my talk today for the scouts, so we went through all the basics, our rule of three, as you all know that, don't need to reiterate it, Also I went through the fact that shelter and looking after yourself and that, and how to produce different types of shelter in an emergency. And then we got into water, the essentials of water, how fast you lose it, how much you need per day, how to preserve your body if you're in a very low water system, and how to risk assess the usage of water in a dire emergency. And the scenario I used there, as I said to you, if you're in an environment where you're dehydrating very rapidly, you're going to get rescued in 48 hours, but there's a filthy water source there. You're going to die from dehydration in the next 6-7 hours, right? Do you take the risk, drink the water, risk the infection, risk the bug, knowing it's going to keep your body functioning? Maybe in a poor state, but it will keep your body functioning long enough to get rescued, then get to a hospital and get whatever is affecting you from that water treated. And you have to make those sort of assessments in a survival situation. Then I got onto food, and as I pointed out to them, they say your body can last 3 weeks without food, but within hours of not getting food, it affects your body's ability to function. Okay, your sugar levels will drop, your carbohydrate levels will drop, your energy drops, you start to become lethargic, it can become difficult to think, process, do things properly. All the functions start to slow down, or some cases cease, because you're not getting the fuel for the machine. And as I said to them then, but the essential thing is sometimes you have to eat things you don't like. So the knack is to plan, find those things you like, store, and make sure that you can have them. Okay, and one of the best ways to do that is get back into cooking. And you don't have to be a brilliant cook. Just get into cooking. Start with the simple things and progress on, and it becomes quite a fun pastime. And as many as I've won, I've lost. The amount of times I've cooked something and I've thought this is going to be lovely, put it in my mouth and gone, that is absolutely gopping. Um, yeah, definitely, Kaz. Definitely curries and stews. Anything you're making that way, second day round, once the flavours have had a chance to really get going. Ooh.
Might do a chili. See, we like. I never used to eat chili con carne until a friend of ours, Caroline, made us some, and I thought. So I ate some. I'm a bit strange. I don't like rice with curries.
Yeah.
I'll eat a Chinese, but I don't like the rice mixed with curry. I just don't do it. But so when we have chili con carne, we have mashed potato with it.
Oh, yeah. Nom, 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 nom.
So we must do all that in the Dutch oven as well.
Yeah. And the other thing is, right, Mexican shepherd's pie. Okay, make yourself a nice chili, what you've got left over on the second day. Yeah, coat in the mashed potato, about 1.5 inches thick over the top, little bit of grated cheese into the oven, crisp that up. Just another meal. Absolutely delicious. Thoroughly love it.
No, I can't do cold pizza. That's just wrong. Nah. Hot. It's supposed to be hot. Not.
Yeah, shepherd's pie. The Mexican shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, have a chili with a bit of mash on it.
I saw something.
Chili con carne and a salami.
We got a local sort of bike orientated pub called the Iron Bull, not far from here. And yesterday their chef had got a long square loaf, cut it in half, scooped out some of the bread, and filled it with mutton curry. And had that with some mashed potato on the side.
Corned beef hash. Oh, can't be corned beef hash. Cool. When the ball in the bag ration packs first came out, we went from tins to those. Nobody I knew wanted the corned beef hash. I used to look at it and go, "That's gopping, not having that," and I loved it. Oh, I loved that. According to Wikipedia, they use rice paste and Marmite on the loaf to make the tiger bread. Now that would explain it, because I
love Marmite.
Yeah, I love corned beef hash. And again, a very simple dish that you can make quite exotic. You know, you can add whatever you want to it. You know, a bit of cheese, or you can add some herbs and some spices, and you can.
See, I remember at school having spam fritters. He hates that. I quite liked it when I was at school.
You said spam.
I haven't got fleas or ticks, you know.
I hate spam. I'm sorry, guys. I know there's people out there that absolutely adore it. I cannot abide it. I went through a point in my life.
Oh no, tapioca, no.
I just got spam regularly, and no, can't. I literally got force fed the stuff, and I cannot abide it. No, I cannot abide it. Okay.
That's one thing. Oh, sorry. Steve, I'm hoping us to give us a try to make some bread in the Dutch oven. What I'd like to do is make one of my bread horseshoes with the cinnamon and all that.
Yeah.
And
you can make that. I'll test it.
Cool it, then put icing on the top.
Yeah, you cool it.
Put flaked almonds.
I'll test it. Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Not sure we can be friends.
Yeah, I'm not.
What's that?
I can't. Sorry, I got it force fed to me, and I just can't abide it. And I'll tell you another thing I can't do, and I'll tell you an interesting story like that. And it used to. I've got better in my old age. I could say the words. There was a time that even just thinking about it would make me retch. But it's lemon curd. Okay, I cannot eat lemon curd at all. Okay, I used to adore it as a kid, and my mum used to cook for quite a few people. Okay. That's Monty Python skit everywhere. It was spam. And as a naughty boy, at about 9 years old, I found myself in the pantry, or the larder as we used to call it, which was a big old cooling room, and I found a jar of lemon curd. The problem is, my mum used to buy it in very large amounts and use it for baking all the time. So I pinched basically well, it was a tin. It was an open tin with just a bit missing out the top that much, but it was what we used to call a gallon tin, and they were a gallon, like a paint gallon can. And I loved lemon curd then, so I nicked this. I was going to eat it all, and I took it and a spoon, and I went and hid myself in the coal bunker, looks like a little shed outside, where nobody used, and I sat in there and I started eating it, and it was awesome. It was great for about the first 10-15 minutes. Then it got a little bit heavy, and then it just got a little bit more difficult to eat, and I kept looking at this tin that just didn't seem to be going anywhere. But now I'm panicking because I've suddenly realised I'm going to get caught. My mum and dad are going to notice it's gone, and it would probably be me that would get the blame. And there's the evidence. It's there. It's in front of me. So I've got to get rid of the evidence. As a kid, you don't think to yourself, but the tin's going to be left. I'm not eating the tin. So what do you think? You think, I better eat it all. And I spent a whole afternoon hiding in this coal bunker and ate a whole gallon tin of lemon curd. I just kept forcing it down, retching, forcing it down. And eventually I'd eaten it. And I lay there for a long time, feeling very, very, very ill. Very ill. And eventually come out the shed. And as you do as a kid, you think, well, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. I'll be all right. I'm just going to go and lay down. And just go. And as you started walking and moving, and now you stood up on your feet, and you've put pretty much a gallon of food inside you. So it's a combination of one, your little stomach can't take that amount. Two, that's a lot of sugar. Okay. It is also a lot of additives that your body was never designed to hold, not in that quantity. So it starts to have a bit of an adverse effect. So by the time I got into the living room, where my mother, my father, my brothers, and 3 dogs were sitting enjoying the fire, watching Benny Hill in the evening, I'd actually turned yellow. I had gone bright yellow. My skin colour, my pupils, everything had gone yellow. And I was feeling very ill, which my mum noticed quickly. My father looked at, and their first thoughts was it was some sort of jaundice. My kidneys had failed, or my liver had failed. And so my dad scooped me up with my mum. There's lots of tears, there's lots of panicking, there's lots of upset. And of course, I'm not going to tell them what I've done. And they rushed me to the hospital. And I arrived at the A&E. Doctors come out, took a look at me, all very concerned. My eyes have gone yellow. My skin colour is yellow. Right? I'm groaning. I'm holding my stomach. My stomach is distended and absolutely rock solid. Everybody's panicking. Still, I couldn't tell them what I'd done. And eventually, they did some checks and all the rest of it, and decided that I'd consumed something dangerous. So they pumped my stomach. The doctor was fairly surprised at what came out. A gallon of lemon curd. Yeah, I say this much. I got the stick when I got home. 1 for stealing the lemon curd, 2 for causing my mum and dad so much worry and panic, and 3 for being an absolute bloody idiot. But from that day after,
You couldn't walk past a jar of it. You had to look away to walk past.
I poisoned myself on lemon curd to the point that my body rejected it completely. At any time I saw it, smelt it, or came across it, it was an instant reaction. And these days, I still cannot put it in my mouth. I can see it, and just about bear the smell of it. Sometimes it will make me heave a little bit, but I can't. Lemon.
I love lemon meringue pie.
She's never been able to have it.
Lemon meringue pie.
Can't bring it into the house.
I can't have it because if he's here, so I have to.
If she put it on the side of the kitchen and I walked into the kitchen and saw it there, I'm sorry, the reaction is not going to be pleasant.
So it's something I'll treat myself to next time him and Matt go and do an overnight camp. I think I'm going to make myself a lemon meringue crunch.
Yeah, but again, one of those stupid things you do.
Yeah, Christmas pudding.
Oh, bacon grill. Oh, bacon grill. And people say bacon grill's the same as spam, you know. Oh, I say to you, any of you guys out there that remember bacon grill, tell me, is it the same as spam? No,
You
it's
still
not.
buy it though, can't you?
Yeah, yeah.
I remember eating. I went for a stage. Kids at school could bringing like little soups. You know, you add to hot water and OXO cubes. So I used to go in my grand's cupboard and steal OXO cubes.
You still eat it. Yeah.
I think you got a tin over there somewhere.
Yeah, I got to the bacon grill over there. John, okie doke. All right, because I owe you a thank you anyhow, my friend. All right. I'm going to put together. Is there anything else you'd like to try from the UK? We'll put together a little package to send out to you. So the first item in is bacon grill. Okay.
Don't listen to black pudding.
I don't know. Yeah,
no,
it's keeping
no.
it cool. So, what does anybody else think? What should we send to John? Okay. What should we send to John from the UK that he probably can't get out there, or even ask him now? You know, have you tried this? Okay, and we will see if we can get together some items to send out for him to go. It might not clear our customs, but we can only try, can't we? Oh yeah, actually it won't, will it? It's a meat product. Ah, damn, John, how can we do this? It's got to be a way. Got to do it via Amazon or something like that. I wonder if you can order it through Amazon and then get it delivered to him.
Don't know.
We'll find a way. OXO cubes. Oh, OXO cubes. Now that's a good staple. Always good in your survival kit. Love a lovely cup of hot OXO.
When I was pregnant with our eldest son, I loved hot OXO, hot Bovril, chicken flavour crisps, and Marmite on toast.
Toad in the hole. There you go. There's a good old British dish.
With onion in the batter.
Yeah, with onion in the batter. Yeah, can't beat a bit of toad. I'll make that tomorrow, actually.
We've got sausages.
Got sausages. I might make a toad. Thank you, Katrina. I might make a toad in the hole tomorrow. Yes, she agrees with you. Put onions in the batter. Yeah. Oh. Thank you, Katrina. It's me. I've decided what I'm having tomorrow.
You always used to have
brown sauce.
OXO cubes and Bovril on your range, didn't you?
Oh, you love Coleman's. Oh, John. So you love Coleman's mustard. Oh, have you
brown sauce? Oh, HP. You've got to have HP.
John,
Houses of Parliament.
Yeah, John. Have you ever made a Welsh rarebit? There's a question for you. If not, I will give you the recipe for it now, because you can get Coleman's mustard out there, and you're going to love this. It's actually pronounced and spelt rarebit, but over the years it's turned to Welsh rabbit. Okay.
Yes, rarebit. Yeah.
So, John, what you do? You want a fairly thick slice of bread, which you're going to toast on one side under the grill. You then take your toast out and you turn it soft side up. You want a small bowl, and in that bowl you'll grate a nice cheese, a good melting cheese, a good strong cheese. Strong, in fact, stronger the cheese the better. Grate it in, okay? And you want, what I'd say, good handful of cheese grated in there. Take an egg, separate the yolk and the white, and put the yolk. If it's a small egg, put 2 in. If it's a large egg, 1 egg yolk. Then take yourself 2 tablespoons, or 2 teaspoons of Coleman's English mustard, and stir the whole lot together so it's all combined. Take your toast and spread it on your toast. When you spread it on your toast, you want to spread it fairly thick, so that if the toast's got a good sort of layer on it, okay? And a tip to you there, chamfer the sides. So as it comes up on the sides of bread, chamfer slightly, and then a nice layer on the top. Put that back under the grill and toast it until it's just browning on the top. The egg will rise, the egg yolk rises, the cheese melts, and it combines with the mustard. An interesting thing with English mustard, when you use it in cookery, it
Makes
loses
cheese
a
sting.
little bit of its heat. Okay, just a little bit of its heat. Now, the best way of having your English mustard, I like it like that, and I put 2 teaspoons in because I like, when I bite into it, to literally feel the vapours of the mustard coming back down my nose. I like a good burn from it, and that's a Welsh rarebit. Some people also put bits of crispy bacon in it, but I've never gone that way. It's a
Can't
bit
do
heathen.
Worcestershire sauce.
But that's a nice one. That works really well. Simple recipe, really, really tasty. A couple of those sets you up for the day. Okay, so that's Welsh rarebit. You can put a bit of Worcester sauce with it.
I've on Facebook. I'm part of on this one that remember in the 70s, and they had the 3 different toast topper tins. Because I actually saw we were somewhere, and we saw a tin of the toast toppers.
Yeah. Or another one is if you're doing chops. If you're going to be barbecue or grilling chops, is another one of my favourite recipes. Take your chops, okay, dry them, and then coat them with English mustard and give them a good liberal coating of English mustard. And then you want brown sugar, and you sprinkle brown sugar over it. You give it a good coating in brown sugar, and then cook that. And that sugar mustard coating absolutely goes a treat. The sugar caramelizes on there. The mustard gives it that little bit of bite, that little bit of burn. Absolutely delicious. You can also do it with honey, hence we get the honey mustard dressing. But I find using a brown sugar just sprinkled on the top, it just caramelizes up lovely, and you get that sort of hot, sweet. Yeah, I can't really describe it. Absolutely delicious. Yeah. Yes, simple stuff. Sort of things I used to have as a kid. Katrina, if you... Oh, Commons powder. There you go. There's a survival tool for you. All right, a good old-fashioned mustard bath. Okey-doke, yeah. Don't put your whole body in a mustard bath. God, it will burn your ring. But it used to be a treatment for colds, for flus and things like that. So basically a bowl of water, literally as hot as you could take it, and 2 tablespoons of mustard powder stirred into it. And because the mustard powder is an irritant, okay, when it hits the tissue on your feet, it actually really makes your feet feel warm. It's a way of breaking a fever, because what it did was it thrusts your body temperature up through the roof. Yeah, works very, very well. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, don't. Okay, I could tell you the ferocious dog story. Okay, and don't. My father has passed. He's long gone. So any of you that are members of PETA or RSPCA that want to hunt him down and prosecute him, yeah, you better go through Heaven's Gate to find him. Okay, and I was too young to know anything better. That's my defence. So we had a neighbour, and he was one of those neighbours that we've all come across in life. You know, oh yeah, I'm hard. Better than you, I'm hard. My budgie's hard. The dog's hard. The cat's well hard. Fight anything. Yeah, we'll fight anything. We're all hard. And this guy turned up with this dog, which attacked our dog. It was an aggressive dog. And my old man said to him, keep that dog out of my garden, away from my dog. Comes in my garden, I'll kick its nuts to its brain. Keep it away. And my old man wasn't a cruel guy. He didn't like suffering in anything. In fact, I've seen him belt people for being cruel to animals. But this guy kept on about this dog. And then one day the guy come round in a panic with his arm wrapped up, says to me, Dad, bloody dog's bit me. Bloody dog's bit me. It's turned really aggressive. It's bit me. My father looked at him and said, "No, it's your own bloody fault, mate. Don't know how to treat a dangerous dog. You don't know how to calm a dog down. You've got to show it who's boss. Okay, you've allowed that dog to become boss. That dog thinks it owns the house, and it did. It was very aggressive, and it thought it owned the house. And my old man said, I can stop that dog biting you. I can stop that dog biting you like that. It's an old trick, and it's guaranteed to work." And the bloke went, "I'll do anything. Yeah, I'll do anything to stop the dog from biting me." Right? And I went, "Oh, fine, bring the dog round." And he said, "Bring it round." And the guy did. He brought it round on a short lead. Yeah? And I don't even know what the breed was. I remember as a kid, it was a larger breed of sort of Labrador cross, something or other. It was snarly, bitey, and the old man was like, "Right, kids, stay back, keep away from it, keep it on the lead." The guy comes in, it's a big farmhouse style kitchen. The guy's got it on the lead. And the old man says, "Right, we'll go out in the garden to do this." He said, "Shut the gate," and that garden's over 100 metres long. It's huge. Big chicken run at the bottom of it. Got the dog out in the garden. And the old man said, "Right, are you ready for this?" And the bloke went, "Yeah." He said, "I want you to let the dog go. And whatever the dog tries to do to me, don't stop it. Don't get involved." And now, old man, he had big hands, big chunky fingers. Okay, he worked with his hands his entire life, and they were big calloused hands. And I've seen him do amazing things with his hands, with heat, with materials and metals and that. Anyhow, he looked at this dog. The guy slipped the lead. First thing the dog's done, spun round at my old man. Its hackles are up, its teeth are going, it's going to chew him. And my old man just stepped forward, grabbed the dog by its back with one hand, lifted it up in the air, took one finger and stuck his finger straight up the dog's backside. Okay? He let the dog go with the other hand, and that dog just took off. It took off. It belted away from him. It dropped to the floor. It had its back end on the floor, its legs out in front of it, running on its front legs. It went round and round in circles for about 2 minutes. It got up. It ran down to the bottom of the garden. It wouldn't come back. Okay? It stayed down there for a long time until my father walked down to get it. When he walked down to get it, this dog was like, "Sorry, I'm sorry." And he was able to put the lead on the dog and walk the dog back. And the dog wouldn't look my father in the eye. And the bloke went, "That's bloody amazing. How'd you do that? How'd you do that?" And the old man said, "It's quite simple. You've got to show the dog who's boss." And he went, "Yeah, but surely the dog bit you." And the old man said, "Yeah, the dog would have bitten me. The fact is," he said, "I went in the kitchen first and I stuck my finger in a pot of English mustard and I coated my entire finger with English mustard. Yeah, the dog should have bitten me. But if I stuck a finger covered in English mustard up your bum, you're not going to want to bite me." And it worked. It worked a treat. That dog was never aggressive to my old man ever again. Used to bite its owner on quite a regular basis, but it never once lifted its lip or even looked at my father the same way ever again. Oh, that's gutting, Lee. That is gutting. Vicks Vapor Rub. Oh yeah, that works a treat.
A cook set giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
A cook set giveaway. Maybe that one for the 1500 subscriber.
Yeah.
Oh, we've already got the 1000 subscriber in set up.
We'll have a chat about that in a bit. After we come off, we'll sit down and have a chat. Might be able to combine the two. You think one of those? No, actually, it won't work.
Actually, it'd be heavy as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Got to think of the weight and that as well. Yeah, Lee, that is gutting. Yeah, I mean, all those situations in life where something's happened accidentally and it's caused suffering or yeah, something like that. Very difficult. Mine was I clouted something with a car. Yeah, and it was my own fault. I was going too fast for the road conditions. And it was a wild animal, and I clouted it, and I was gutted. I went to work, I cried my eyes out. I was disgusted with myself. Slowed me down. I learned a lesson from that. Yeah, it does happen, my friend. Yeah. Yeah. My heart goes out to that. Oh.
So Christmas, are we gonna have a Christmas? What,
Yeah, what we
a
gonna,
Christmas do?
Yeah, what are we going to do for a Christmas do? Yeah. Yeah, we're going to have a Christmas do. We're going to wear Christmas hats. Well, we're not going to know if they're wearing Christmas hats, are we?
Unless they send us
Pictures. That's an idea. Yeah. Oh. Yes, right. So I've gone a bit quiet there, and I do apologise for that. I was just trying to think of what next to have a chat about. We've done food tonight. We've done Up the Woods.
Good evening, Derek.
Derek! Compadre.
You can have a Zoom call, I suppose, yeah?
Yeah. Good. Yeah, let's figure out how to do that. Oh. Well, I'm afraid I do Christmas. And the reason I do Christmas is quite simple. Because it's a good old-fashioned pagan festival. Okay? Yeah. So, it's Yule.
Oh, I've just got to say, Sam, your video earlier on, your pentagram as Gothic, it's not just Gothic, it's pagan.
Yeah. It's and many different realms of paganism.
Yeah.
It's not just.
Yeah, it's not just a Gothic thing.
There you go. So, if you take the Christmas celebration, okay, you got to remember that it's Yule.
Yeah.
Yule used to last for 14 days, hence the burning of the Yule log. Okay, the oldest celebration is midwinter. It's the midwinter feast. Christmas was originally in March. Okay, when we changed the calendars, they moved the date of Christmas to cover Yule, to try and steal Yule from the pagans. Okay, So those of you that put a wreath up outside your house, remember this: when you put the wreath up, you're actually saying to the world, "I'm a pagan." Okay, because the wreath was the old symbol that you put up in a village during Yule to show travellers and people passing through that you still followed the old ways. That's why it's green. It's to follow the old paths, okay, the old wisdoms. Celebrate in whichever way you want, Sam. But remember, it's the midwinter feast, and why it's so important to so many different people. It's midwinter. We've made it halfway through. Okay, so you put your stores away for the winter period. Okay, bit of druidism here. So you put your stores away in the old days, in the ancient times. And we're talking about a time when we all lived in communal huts, a long hut. Okay, we put our stores away. We get to midwinter. And when you get to midwinter, you'd look at what stores you had. Now, some of your stores are going to be turning bad. Some of your animals, you're going to have to ration your food source. So you'd look at it and you'd say, okay, we can afford to lose that pig or that goat or those chickens so that we have enough reserves to keep the others fed through till spring when they can start feeding naturally again. That cheese, that's almost done. We'll use that. Those potatoes or those vegetables, they're almost done. Those acorns, they're almost done. And you'd have a feast. You'd have a feast celebrate. The Yule log came in midwinter because, unlike today, that was middle of winter. That was the coldest period. Okay, and the whole idea of the Yule log was a single tree. You went and cut a log, normally long enough to go out of the doors of your accommodation, your long hut you're building. and you would have a central fire pit that kept everybody in the building warm. Well, you're going to have a bit of a feast, a bit of a festival. You're going to drink your homemade beers. You're going to have a bit of a party. The last thing you want to be doing is the guy you're turning around somebody and saying, you've got to sit up all night and keep the fire fed. Okay, so they didn't. They had the Yule log. The Yule log was fed onto the fire. And as the celebration went on, the night wore on. And in actual fact, in a lot of cases, the days wore on. The log was just fed slowly and steadily onto the fire. And it would be an entire tree. When that was burnt out, that was signalled the end of the feast. Hence, we had the celebration of the Yule log. And it is a Yule log. It was a log cut and seasoned throughout the year to burn the entirety of Yule, giving everybody the chance to sit back, be warm, feast, be merry, and celebrate the fact that it looks like we're going to make it. We're going to get through this period of starvation, of cold, of long, dark nights, and we'll do it together. And that's where that all comes from.
And Samhain is extra special to us because it's my birthday.
It's your birthday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam is Yorkshire Outdoors and Survival, Katrina.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah, what she was asking, Foxy, is which she's asking which one, what name, because obviously
because we refer to him as Sam,
yeah.
and everybody else, other people are like, which one's Sam? Yeah, there we go.
21st of December, your mum could have held on a couple more days.
Yule though, 21st December, beginning of Yule.
Yeah,
mate, it's a great time. It's a great time. Yeah, it's so Yule is important. Is one of them the important festivals. The other one that everybody always gets a bit confused with is Samhain. Okay, so All Hallows Eve to some people. Okay, to the ancients, it was the autumn equinox. Okay, it is a solstice. It's a period when, in the old belief systems, you were closest, or the veil between the living and the dead was at its thinnest.
It's starting to thin now, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was a celebration time because our ancestors they had no fear of death. It was there around them all the time. Disease, famine, it was there. They lived with it. Okay. It's only in the last 100 years or so that we've really, our society's developed to the point where it's something we've really become afraid of. They lived with it. And
you got a great granddaughter.
Samhain was a point where you celebrated your ancestors. This is where the Christian missionaries and that got a bit upset, because they didn't look at it as you're celebrating your ancestors. It was you're worshipping the dead. Okay, you weren't. It's an ancestor worship. It's a time when they believed the two realms were the closest, and your ancestors could literally look in and see you, and you could send them messages. You could thank them, and it was a time of thankfulness. It was a time to say thank you to your father for all he had done throughout his life, and his grandfather for preparing the land for growing or whatever, and building your family to where it was. And it was a celebration for those you'd lost in that year. Okay, it was a time of feasting, and it was a time of remembrance. Okay, when Christianity came along, and I have no problems with Christianity, please don't get me wrong, I'm a Druid, I'm respectful to all faiths and religions. Okay, when Christianity came along, it was a bit evangelical, and they didn't like it. They were trying to convert people. So the easiest thing to say is that was a worship of the dead, and therefore evil and wrong. It's not. It was a time of thankfulness, reflection, and gratitude to your ancestors for getting you this far. Because if it was not for your mother and your father, your grandfather, and your great grandfather, yeah, you wouldn't be where you were.
Yeah, we've got that. September is a bad one for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
August, because we've got wedding anniversary, your birthday, and several other birthdays.
Oh yeah, very many of the Christian traditions are, in fact, literally 99% of them are based on the old pagan belief systems. And this, don't blame the Christians for this, blame the Romans. Okay, when the Romans, and I'm talking pre-Christian Romans, invaded most of Europe, or conquered most of Europe, one of the things they did was very clever. They would turn up with a huge army, say to the tribe, whatever area they were conquering. And bear in mind, it was literally community by community that they took. They would turn up and they would say, look, we're Rome. I don't want to destroy you. We want to trade with you. All we want from you in return is you recognise the power of Rome of being your leaders. We are the people that own this land, and you can stay, you can farm it, you give us a little bit of tax, but you recognise us as the great Rome. You worship what you want to worship. We're not interested in your gods. We've got gods of our own. And they would come in and they would take over. And when the Romans were really clever there, they would wait until the locals had their local festival, the local celebration, and then they would go, oh, yeah, we've got one on the same day, but ours is a bit better than yours. And they would slowly convert. They would convert to the worship of Saturnus and so on. Okay, so that was how they took nations. They were very, very clever. They weren't stupid. Okay, and of course, if you then turn around and say, well, you know, we've accepted you here and all the rest of it. Yeah, but you're now a vassal of Rome. Okay, so you'll like it or lump it. But they were clever enough to realise that if they just came in and went, right, stop what you're doing, do it our way or else, people would just rise up, or they would just disappear. Okay, they would just move away into the forests. They would move further north. They would go away from you. Okay, and that was pretty much sweet FA you could do about that. Victory through bank holidays, exactly that. Okay, so and that started with the Romans, and when the Romans became Christian, again they used exactly the same technique. It's very easy to turn around to somebody and say you can't worship what you worship. It's far easier to say, oh, do you know what? We worship the same thing on the same day, but we just call ours by the name of such and such. Okay?
I can never understand Easter eggs. I can understand it in the pagan thing.
Yeah.
But
well, that was just taken straight from the pagan belief system, the symbol of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the egg being a symbol of life was given in the spring as a celebration of life. You can't beat a good
old Christmas movie.
Oh, yeah.
So what's a favourite? I love Muppet Christmas Carol. Definitely.
Yeah, we all sing along to that, don't we?
Yeah, the local stores here have started putting in the selection packs and tins of biscuits.
Well, let's face it. So you go back 50 years ago, Christmas wasn't what it is now. Christmas was a family celebration. It was about spending time together. It was about loving one another and sharing. The whole gift idea, the giving of gifts, and the manner that we do today was just clever sales techniques by the supermarkets getting us to compete with one another to see who could give the best gift and make money out of it. And it's all sales and marketing. You ain't got to look at Coca-Cola. That is all sales and marketing. Father Christmas was not originally red and white. No. Father Christmas, Santa Claus, Saint Nick, whatever you want to call him, was a deity that came out of Yule. He was green and white. He represented the green man. Okay, one of the oldest belief systems, right, in Northern Europe. And it lives, in fact, it wasn't just Northern Europe, it was worldwide. The belief of the green man or the forest god or Herne, whichever you wanted to name him by. And it has many, many names. Okay, and Coca-Cola turned him from green and white, a representation of the old belief systems, to red and white. And in the old systems, the Green Man, you went to two phases. Okay, you had the Green Man of summer, who was represented by the oak tree in most nationalities, ash in some nationalities. Okay, and in the winter, he was represented by holly in parts of Europe, or the evergreen of the trees. And he was just a representation of nature. As simple as that. Krampus, yeah, yeah. Now, still, I prefer that.
I prefer Krampus.
Yeah, yes. Punish your naughty children. In fact, one of my favourites, I'm trying to remember the cartoon now, it was one of my favourite representations of Christmas. I thought it was absolutely awesome. Was, oh, come on, with Bender the Robot. Oh, what was that? Futurama.
Yeah.
Futurama. That was absolutely brilliant. You got the Christmas Santa Claus.
So, what are your intentions on Wednesday then? Or is it going to be a secret school?
In all honesty,
Christmas vacation, yeah, I like that.
In all honesty, I don't really know. So we're talking about movies from that era now, are we?
No, it's this.
Christmas Vacation. But every time I think of Christmas Vacation and that, I actually think to myself, Uncle Buck or Christmas Vacation.
It's the other one with the bear with the bare bum and the head.
Yes.
Great Outdoors.
Oh dear!
If you see a bear with a bald patch,
John Candy.
Yeah.
Oh man, we lost him early. That was a shame. That man was a genius. He used to make me laugh. Used to make me howl. That was sad. National Lampoon's Christmas.
Yeah.
The Bender the Robot.
Yeah, Planes, Trains and Automobiles. I like that too.
Oh yeah. I had
Stripes. I've still got Stripes on DVD. Because in the movie, John Candy, when they cut all their hair off, they didn't actually tell him that that's what they were going to do, and the two main ones who were in Ghostbusters, they just had theirs trimmed, but everyone else had theirs completely cut off. So when John Candy's standing in the door with his hair in his hand,
that was
generally he was not happy.
Mortified.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Great Outdoors. I love that. I watched that Great Outdoors so many times. But it's like Uncle Buck. Anything with John Candy in.
Yeah, Planes, Trains and Automobiles. The moment where he wakes up and he see the car and the skull, the car, the skull. Yeah, I've had a couple of moments like that on the motorbike. So, oh, no, here we go. Trading places, yeah. Mary Poppins and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Oh yeah, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Cool Runnings. Yeah, that was another classic film.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, filmed on an army camp that I used to be based at Longmoor. Used to be where the Longmoor Military Railway used to be at Borden in Hampshire. Any of you that are interested in a bit of military history, old military history, especially if you like trains, all right, have a look on the Tinterweb or on YouTube and look up Longmoor Military Railway. Okay, there's a load of old black and white footage. It was shut down in the 60s with the loss of a lot of the military locomotives. One or two are still going, one of which was called Gordon, who went on to become rather famous in a children's series.
Another one was, it was also, the train was used in the Great St. Trinian's train robbery.
In fact, the whole railway was used for that.
Lee said he thought he recognised you.
Yeah. The military got into a lot of trouble because the movie makers that made the first Great St. Trinian's train robbery basically turned originally to the railway companies in England and said, this is what we want to do. We want loads of kids, steam train.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. And of course, the railways at the time went, whoa, safety, can't do it. No, can't be done. So they went away and they went, who else are we going to get to do it? Who else are we going to do it? The army have got a military train depot, a big one, out at Longmoor. So they got hold of the military and they went, "Yeah, backhand, you want to make a movie out here? Is that right?" And the military went, "Yeah,
Because
no
not
problem.
far from Warmer's Pond is where the platform was, wasn't it?
That's not a problem." So they did. And then the movie was released, and pretty much the equivalent of the Railway Safety Board at the time went, "What the? You can't do this." They went ballistic. Caused a lot of grief for the military and a lot of grief for the movie maker, but still a damn good old-fashioned movie. Great fun. And if you look carefully, if you ever watch it as it's going round, you'll see in the distance in a lot of places the various ranges that were all the way around the training area. And that military depot there originally was from 1800s, where they trained Royal Engineers in train operations, destruction of railways. They actually had a section of railway where they would purposely crash trains on a regular basis. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always do. Technology moves forward. They was. I think it's the you've got more concentration on effects and all the rest of it. Which, don't get me wrong, are absolutely awesome. But you've lost something in the actual acting
And the old movies, you never had people sitting there watching them frame by frame by frame just to see if there's someone's got a modern watch on.
Based on Basilboard,
yeah.
It's you know, it's like Errol Flynn and that, isn't it? It's nothing watching a pirate who actually swings up onto the balustrade, stripped to his waist with his chest out with his sword, and goes, "Ha ha!"
Yeah, it's like Kirk Douglas. He used to be in a circus.
Yeah.
So the bloke who was deaf, who used to do that with him, that's why he's in quite a few of the movies. Yeah, I used to love watching Harold Lloyd.
Yeah.
Because he used to always own stunts and that.
Still wet myself watching Laurel and Hardy. Yeah. And it's quite funny because you show it to the youngsters now, they just don't get it. They're like, "That's wrong. You can't do that. You know, why is he hitting him like that? You can't do that." But I used to love it.
It's like our sons used to love the Carry On films and Up Pompeii and things.
Well, listen, the 70s were a good time for a young prepubescent boy who was just starting to notice women, because we were a little bit more relaxed about certain images that would be in these programs that you won't see today. In actual fact, in a way, I was chatting to a lady, funny enough, on the ferry, the Isle of Wight ferry, months and months and months ago, and it was just one of those conversations. We're on the ferry, she's sitting there going the same way as me, we're nattering away, and something come up about a movie or something that had been filmed somewhere, and we got on to talking about movies, how movies have changed. And this lady's a little bit older than me, and she said one of the things that shocks her and surprises her is that she was a teenager in the early 60s, and she said, "Do you know what?" She said, "It's funny how it goes." She said, "We fought, my generation," she said, "to be allowed to wear short skirts. We fought," she said, "and we had to fight. We said in places we could be arrested for having a short skirt and to wear blouses that showed off our femininity. And we had to fight for that." She said, "And now," she said, "you can't. If you show that sort of thing, then it's judged as, you know, it is sexually provocative and it's wrong." However, she said that's what we fought for. That's what we fought for in our women's rights and our liberalities, to be able to say, "Do you know what? This is me. See me. I'm enjoying myself and I'm happy in my sexuality and being sexual." She said, and now it's sort of gone the other way. She said, "I'm hearing people now speak like my mother and my grandmother did. Cover it up." She said,
"You're not going out dressed like that."
Yeah. And it's not me saying that I want to see naked women on the TV, because, to be honest with you, at my age, it doesn't really bother me so much anymore. But things like the Carry On movies, where you
Apart from
might see,
Emmanuel,
yeah,
it was a bit.
where you might see the odd boob, okay, wasn't a big deal. But for me, at the age of young man, and I will say young man, starting to notice ladies, was an education, okay, and I see no harm in that, because it's all quite natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that, Lee. I've got a granddaughter now, and I do sit there and see some young ladies at the moment, and I go, my granddaughter never goes out like that. Okay, but
That's right. I mean, men becoming women, and then
oh yeah,
the sports is
no, yeah, and that was an interesting thing talking to your scout stakes. We brought this all up, and I said, how do you lot feel about it? And they actually, they're 14, 15, and they're a generation to see it as wrong. Okay, the whole sort of stupidity that we've had over the last 5 to 10 years, it's a fad. It's a generational thing. It's going away. The next lot are going, do you know what? Had enough of that. They're rebelling against it. They're not interested. They're sick of being told how they've got to think. They're sick of teachers, educators, and people saying to them, you've got to accept this. You've got to think that. You've got to be this, or you're wrong. And they're rebelling against it. The actual woke movement has poisoned itself. Okay, it's destroyed itself, and it's the pushback is the next generation coming round, and it's a natural evolution that happens. For my generation, it was punk. Okay, some of the ideas and belief systems that I had as a 15-year-old punk rocker. By the time I got to 21, I went, "You twat." Yeah, anarchy. I want to destroy the whole society. Anarchy, total anarchy. I didn't even know what anarchy was. By the time I got to 21, I understood what anarchy was, and I was like, yeah, fucking idiot. But that's what happens. Derek, you're right. Teachers leave those kids alone. It's not for the teachers to teach morality. That's for the parents. The teachers are there to teach. Simple as. Don't get me wrong. They are guardians in a way. If they see something going wrong, yeah, that's their job to jump in. But the morality of your child is a responsibility of the parent.
You can't wear your kilt to it.
You can't wear your kilt to work.
Why not?
Why the hell not? I've been known to wear my kilt on my
He's
motorcycle.
you got a black kilt.
John, my friend, it's the banning of your kilt, or if you're not allowed to wear your kilt, that's culturally inappropriate, mate.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, there are many types of kilts, and kilts aren't necessarily a Scottish thing. They originated in Ireland, and they are part of the Celtic dress throughout all the Celtic nations. Just some choose not to. In Cornwall, we have a kilt. We have two kilts. We have a yellow and black kilt. We also have a plain linen kilt, what we would call a working kilt. And I believe in parts of Scotland, they also had a plain working kilt.
A lot of we went to Witchfest a few years back.
Yeah.
A lot of the men were wearing black kilts then. It's quite an unusual thing.
No, as long as your dress does not affect your ability to do your job, and let's face it, with a kilt worn correctly, I can't see many jobs that I've ever come across, apart from people that stand over hot fires, would be a risk or an issue.
Are you all right though, Derek? City's Widowmaker came down there last night. Winds and rain landed, and patio furniture shattered it like a bomb.
You're all right, Derek? Yeah, that's not good.
No.
A bit of a scare. You don't need that, my friend. You definitely don't need that.
Because you had really bad. You and Jason had really rough season that when you came back from your mum's.
Yeah.
Good. Glad you're all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Mate. Well, that's it. The tradition of the kilt. I mean, I can't speak for Scotland, but I know down in Cornwall, where I'm from, and my people come from, the Cornish kilt on a gentleman is worn from pretty much the centre of the knee down to just below the knee. Is about 2-inch gap. And the theory is that you should be able to sit, place your hands between your thighs, push the kilt down, and hide your dignity. Okay. The other thing to remember, if you're a gentleman with large buttocks, in all honesty, make sure you can bend over. Okay. And remember, if you wear your kilt au naturel, when you do bend over, certain items tend to dangle. Okay. So just make sure, turn to your partner, your loved one, and just say, check me out when I bend over.
A lot of the girls wear skirts that are just above their sea level.
Yeah. Scottish skirts worn the same. Yeah, I thought it might be.
Scared the Zulus.
Yeah.
It scared them on carrying up the Khyber as well.
Up the Khyber. Devils in skirts. Yeah. That's why they had bagpipes, you know. Yeah. Bagpipes were invented to hide the squeals of anguish and pain of Scottish warriors as they ran through the thistles and nettles.
We went to a Christmas indoor bowls, didn't we? You wore a kilt.
Yeah, it's like bowling in a kilt. Yeah, it's an experience.
With no pants.
Yes. Because I do, when I wear my kilt, I do wear my kilt au naturel. Makes you very careful about falling over, and it makes you think about how you sit. But I will say it's also liberating and very comfortable. Also, being a biker, in summer months, I've been known to go for a quick hurdle on the bike wearing my kilt. Yeah, don't stand up on the pegs at 60 mile an hour. It's very drafty, B, slightly embarrassing, and people tend to point and laugh. But hey, if it gives them a giggle, gives them a giggle. Yeah, and bees.
I've never seen the proper kilts, sir.
Yeah, I find the kilt myself, to be honest with you, in the summer when it's really, really hot, I find it a very comfortable piece of clothing. I know a lot of people sort of, and I get it myself, even here in the UK, I go wearing, especially if I'm wearing a working kilt, so I'm wearing a linen kilt, which is plain and black, okay? It's got the plaits in it. It's exactly the same design as a kilt, but it's a working kilt. And I used to use one in the forge quite regularly because obviously the heat in the forge. I mean, my triple burner runs at between 1800 2400 degrees. Okay, and that's in quite a confined space. So obviously temperature's up. So I'm doing everything I can to stay cool. Now the linen kilt's great because hot metal hits that, slides off of it. Okay, it's a great material, but it gives me airflow. Okay, and I might be working in the forge, and I decide I'm going up the town, grab something shopping and that, and I think nothing about it. I go off in the kilt, and I do get people go, "Oh, mate, what are you wearing a dress for?" That's a kilt. Do you not know the difference between a kilt and a dress? Well, okay, it's just ignorance. Deal with it, you know.
Oh, Willow, he's crashed out in the back. He's
Hello, Willow. You want to come say hello?
Come say hello to your peoples. He's doing really well. The training's come on really good. He's all full of his chicken tea.
There's a long reach in there, isn't it? You make me reach a long way.
Well, it has got a top one.
Oh, here we go.
Say hello, peoples.
The
ears flicked.
Here we go, little fella.
There we have the Wookie.
Wookie. Our big guinea pig.
Yeah,
yeah.
Hello, Willow.
There you go. You still can't see his face. It's too
Willow. Look up there. Yeah, that's what Lee was saying. I took the pictures and you see his face.
Got his little curly tail.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you're tired, are you, mate?" He's knackered.
It's a bit much.
Yeah, it's a bit much. Being Shih Tzu, he's quite a calm little dog. He has his moments of madness, and then he just gets in the evening, gets about this time, and he's like, "I just want to sleep now. I just want to have a kip." And he'll just curl up and he'll have a kip and cuddle. Quite a sweet little dog.
Yes, definitely. You're right, Lee. He's definitely a camouflage expert because when he gets near the logs and that, he just disappears.
Oh, big yawn. Big yawn. There you go. Then go back in your cage. Oh,
yeah, it's too much.
Get back in my bed. Go back in my bed.
But all the things that we were told about Shih Tzus, they say they don't like heights. Well, that's rubbish because he leaps off the back of the sofa, doesn't he? And
quite an adventurous little dog, actually. They say, "Oh, they're not adventurous; they're really, really desperate." But he's
it'd be nice to see you, Katrina.
Yeah, Carry On Camping. There's another good movie. Yeah, he's got a little sweetheart.
Derek, is your friend's is it still wearing the cone of shame, or is it better now? Yeah, it does look like an Ewok, doesn't it? An Ewok, a wig, a toupee. What was it? Chewbacca.
Ewok, Chewbacca.
I'm trying to think what Chewbacca was.
Wookiee.
Wookiee, that's it.
Yeah.
Wookiee.
I think he's a guinea pig.
Derek's asking you about your.
I used to be based at Longmore Ranges. Used to run Longmore Ranges, so we had these made up for all our staff. So basically, figure 12 target representation there. Range staff, Longmore Ranges, just to let people know who we were when we were bimbling around. And I've run ranges all over southern England at various times, and facilities, training facilities. So yeah, that's where that comes from. And it's just old days. I like to sling it on now and again. Reminds me of happy days. Physical therapy starts in 2 weeks. Excellent, mate. Excellent. Physio, recovering from things like that. Physio is always the worst bit. Trying to stretch those tendons and muscles back out, get the use. It's always a very, very painful period. Yeah, people always sort of think, "Oh yeah, it's the initial healing that's the worst." It's not. It's actually getting the usage back in. That can be quite a period of suffering. Quite painful and uncomfortable. Not quite the same ranges, mate. Yeah, yeah, physios. They're yeah. I think when you go to apply for the job as a physiotherapist, like the first thing they ask you,
that's what that is.
Are you sadomasochist?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, do you like inflicting pain on people? Wonderful.
It's like people work in the X-ray department as well.
Yeah.
The amount of times that I've had my knees and hands X-rayed, and they sort of push them flat, and you go, "Oh," and you go, "Oh, did that hurt?"
Well, I smashed up my wrist and my arm.
Yeah.
Going to physio or going to X-ray, and I broke my arm 2 places here, and I've broken my hand all through here, and it bloody hurt, you know. Like, guy goes to go to X-ray, and he literally grabbed my hand like that, pulled my arm out, twisted it over, and put it down. And I looked at him and went, "You do know that's broken, don't you?" And he went, "I'll be the judge of that." There was a moment where I'm thinking, and my right fist, which is my lead fist, is still available, my friend. But again, hospitals.
Yeah, thanks, Derek. Yeah,
staff.
We suddenly went from just below 800 subscribers, and now it's just suddenly gone mad again.
Yeah, the support I've had, and I will say, just in the last 2 days, there's been a bit of a jump. Okay, and that bit of jump is thank you to the scouts, because again, I gave my talk through the day. We shared stuff. We shared education techniques, methods of fire starting, water, and all the rest of it. And they were fascinated, enjoyed it. And they are explorer scouts. So these guys are really keen on being outdoors. And a lot of them was like, where do we go to learn more? So I started,
Ray.
and one of those silly things, I started giving a list of other people's channels. And I'm like, you can go to this and have a look at this, go to this and have a look at this, have a listen to this. And I thought, hang on, what am I doing to myself? And actually, you can come over and look at some of my old videos. Okay. Come over and maybe join us on a Sunday night, or maybe watch the live stream. And if there's any of you guys that I've met this weekend that are watching this on catch up or a later date, big up to you guys. You were absolutely awesome. Okay. Good efforts. So, yeah, so I gained a few extra subscribers to them. Big thanks to them. Do appreciate it.
Can't believe it.
Yeah, and the support. The support from everybody's been amazing.
Yeah, I mean, after a year, just below 800 is amazing, and then it's just
and I'm not
going off again.
I'm not arrogant about it. I know I'm lucky. I'm blessed. And I know it's also not just down to the work that I put in it, it's the work Kaz has put into it, the work that Max put into it. There's a lot of effort goes in. And sometimes it's actually people giving me a bit of a boot up the bum, going, come on, Mick, you need to get out and do this video. Okay. I do suffer a fair bit of pain. It's a fair bit of lethargy. There are days where I get up and I just don't feel like moving at all. The thing is, if I can get up the woods, I know once I'm there, especially if it's a nice day, that I roll into it, it helps. Okay. The support I get from every single subscriber, every little comment, every little thumbs up, right? As anybody that does a YouTube channel knows, it helps. It's an encouragement. You take every single one. When you first start out, you doubt yourself. You're like, this isn't going to work. Who's going to want to watch me? Okay. I was lucky in the principle that the reason I started it was to leave something for my granddaughter, something for my great-grandchildren could possibly see. Okay. Because I don't think the stuff that's on YouTube now is ever going to go away. The internet is such a vast expanse. I think it will always be there and available.
It definitely is a beautiful thing.
It
YouTube
is.
family.
It's
like the.
Well, how many people here have actually met me face to face, shaken hands, and said hi?
I don't
know. No, not many. Not many. One or two. Okay, but we've got to know one another. But I consider everybody on my subscriber list or on my channel, everybody is a friend. And that's the way I look at it. When I'm talking to the camera, when I'm doing a piece of video or I'm doing something now, I'm talking to my friends. I'm not talking to strangers. People are saying to me, isn't it difficult talking to the camera because it's just a camera? No, because I know the people that are out there. They make comments and they say things. I know they're all individuals, and I know they're all different. They have different lives, different ideas, come from different places. And my attitude to that, the feeling I get inside me is I'm talking to them, every single individual one of them. I'm having a conversation with as if they were there with me at that moment in the woods. Dog Dad would come up in the piece I did with him. He's amazed. He said, you did all that in one take. And I said, yeah, because I'm talking to friends.
Gary said could you do a video on tool maintenance, keeping axes and knife and saws sharp and how to maintain them?
Yeah, I'll be happy to do that. You see, I've got plenty there. And it's coming to that time of year when it is time to start doing that. It's time to sit there and go, okay, it's a long evening.
Derek, you like the...
Got 4 or 5 hours. I sit there and re-hone an edge.
You liked the trailer. We love our trailer, don't we?
Yeah.
I've actually ordered some black hammerite paint because the bottom where the checker plating in is going round. It's come off, so it's going to scrub it back, and hopefully it's a warm day this week. I'll get a chance to go up and paint it.
Yeah. Always good for the brain, Katrina. That's right. Never stop learning. Yeah. It's and sharing. And I'm not You know, you sit there and listen to people. I had somebody turn around to me today and introduce me to somebody as he is the expert. So I'm no expert, not by any. There is anybody that ever tells you they're an expert is somebody to be concerned with. An expert means you know absolutely everything about that subject.
There's new things all
And
coming out all the
nobody
time.
does. Constantly learning, constantly reevaluating, constantly listening to other people, learning from other people's techniques. Okay, learning from other people's ideas. Benny, I mean, he comes up with some wacky yet wonderful ideas that I absolutely love. And there's a couple of them where I've looked at and I've gone, you know, that's bloody clever. I'm going to give that a go. You know,
I was telling Mick the other day that I was watching a young lady and she had a short on YouTube, and she had taken a pencil sharpener with her, and she put some twigs in and was turning them and turned them into sort of long pieces of flake. And of course, when she put the forest rod to it, it took off. I thought, I never even thought about that.
No,
it's yeah.
And again, it's a simple method. It's a simple technique. It's an idea. Not everybody's come across it, but it works. You know, making shavings that way, in a lot of ways, is so much easier than feather sticks. In actual fact, I think in my fire kit. Get a fire kit down.
It's nice to share.
In my fire kit.
I think I'm going to actually put one in my ouch pouch, because I think it's helpful for me, because obviously my dexterity in my hands is not brilliant. But yeah,
no, it's not. And there must be one of the other kits. I've got a big pencil sharpener that I actually keep in there for that reason.
John was saying about the carpenter one.
Yeah. It's
yeah, they're good, aren't they? The Benny's tins that he uses. Sam's just saying he made the candle holder.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of using his little tin can pot to heat his water up, and then when they burn out, just get another one.
Hobo stoves.
Yeah.
Simple techniques, simple ideas shared. There are hundreds of them. Sometimes we get so caught up on technology, and it's one of the things that with some of the channels I love their channels, again, because it's nice to watch somebody who's showing you all the latest kit, all the latest gadgets.
Katrina, if you like to look back at I did a video, and it's my ouch pouch, and it shows you there what I've got in my little kit that I take with me. You might find that interesting, and maybe make one yourself.
That's the other thing we've got to do is I've got 219 odd videos now uploaded, and what I think I'm going to have to do in the next few months, I'm going to go through some of the very early ones, or ones that aren't getting views, and delete them, because I think what I'm going to do is have a look through and say, well, that's maybe not the best video in the world. Maybe that video hasn't got the information that I'd like to put out there, and have a little bit of a clean sweep. Otherwise, I'm going to have a channel with 1,000 videos on it, and people, unless they're actually typing into the algorithm the exact, I want to see.
Unless you revisit it and redo it,
revisit them and redo them. I mean, it's one of the videos I'm really proud of. One of my early videos is titled "My Mate the Kelly Kettle," and I'm very proud of that one because it was one of my first videos that did really well, and also because that was, I still think myself, one of the best explanations of the Kelly Kettle out there. And I'd watched, before I made that video, I'd watched many other people's explanations on the Kelly Kettle, how it worked, why it works, and all the rest of it, tips and ideas, and actually come away from them a bit disappointed, because some of the videos on the Kelly Kettle I watch and I'm like, we've never actually used it. Okay, somebody's bought a Kelly Kettle and gone, I'm going to do a video on this, probably based on other people's videos, without actually having the experience of using it. And I've used a galley kettle for years. And so I said, like, well, do you know what? This is my tips. And again, with the galley kettle, it's things like the cork. Okie doke, it's a solid cork. You don't put it in the top when you're boiling it. But if it's the vented cork, put it in the top. And I still get comments saying, you should never put the cork in. You put the cork in if it's the vented cork, and you just can't get that through to people because some people don't. I don't think they actually listen or understand what I'm demonstrating. But I don't get hurt by it.
Yeah, you don't have to scroll back through 219 videos. If you click on the video thing, it's not that far down the list.
If you look on the channel, you should be able to go back down the list, and anything you want to see, it should be on there. And I've got a couple of videos on there on knife sharpening, on tool maintenance, a bit of basic equipment.
Like
but again, now I know you want to see that. I'll revisit it as another
cooking
video.
One, it's at 1.9, isn't it? And it got up to 1,000. Yeah.
So yeah, very, very happy with it. Gary, what the guy was probably showing you was an American bivy bag, and I'll be doing a video on one of those very, very shortly. Okay, a friend of mine that's still serving at the moment has actually taken a look at the American bivy bag that John here, very kindly, John Kennedy sent me. Okay, and it is an absolutely brilliant bit of kit, John. It's actually better than the British bivy bag, quite simply because it's thicker. It's better built. Okay, and the zipper on it is superb. And a friend of mine who's serving in the military at the moment has actually taken some photographs of that, taken his issue bivy bag, and he's taken it to a seamstress and said, I want this adaptation. Can you make that on there for me? And he's actually having his bag adapted. I'm going to wonder if, John, 5 years from now, I wonder if you're going to be responsible for a conversion of the British military bivy bag to having a zip down the side of it.
No, he says it's a British one.
Yeah. That is a British one, is it? Yeah.
It's about, if you're going to use stuff, you always find a thing that it would be better if.
Cheers, Katrina.
Yeah.
It was a British one again. So there you go. So Ev's not going to be the first one to have done it.
No.
So again, it's probably somebody who's seen the American one, and
yeah,
it's an app. The American ones are brilliant. One of the issues that I've always had with sleeping bags and bivy bags, right, due to a situation I had in my 20s where I ended up in a storm drain pipe. Another story entirely. Trapped in there like that for several hours. I cannot abide being compressed or restricted in any way. It does actually make me very, very aggressive. I have to fight to get out of that. I need the freedom to move. Okay, cannot abide it. Okay, so nowadays I tend to sleep with sleeping bags open, or I use things like the German Army sleeping bag where I can put my arms down the sleeves, and it gives me that freedom of movement. The downside of that has always been the difficulty in sealing. That American bag that John sent me is superb. The zipper on it works absolutely brilliantly. And the fact that the zipper's on the side, again, it's absolutely brilliant bit of design because it means I can have that zippered open, but it's big enough to get around me, insulate me, keep me warm. And if it gets bad, yes, I can zip it up, but I don't feel so restricted. It MSS system, yeah. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant bit of kit. So my next goal now is to get myself a military poncho, US military poncho.
Yeah.
That's the next one.
Yeah.
So I can do the whole combination. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, you must excuse me for 2 seconds. I'm going to leave you with Kaz. I unfortunately need to dip to the little boys' room.
Didn't we order another?
We did.
Yeah. I think we ordered another. Like that. Yeah, I've been given a poncho. It's a British one, isn't it?
Yes. No, Dutch.
Dutch. I've got a Dutch poncho, so that when I'm herring around on my large mobility scooter, I can stay dry, and means I can keep little man in there dry as well.
Yeah. The other thing I liked about the American system, okay, so I'm somebody that's had to work quite regularly in a hide. So, okay, and one of the difficulties when you're in a hide, whether it be an OP, shooting, marksman's hide, vermin control, whatever you're doing, you've built your hide. Hide's naturally a very low level. They're camouflaged, and you want to keep the movement to a minimum to hide your shadow, your shape, your shine, and so forth. One of the issues with the British bivy bag was the fact that you've literally got to shuffle in it from the end, okay? And getting out of it again is a shuffle out of it. That American system with the zipper, you can literally slide the zipper down and pretty much just roll straight out of it into a standing position. Absolutely superb.
John, ask you a
that.
question. It's about try the movie as a ranger role.
Yeah, they do both fit into it. Bit tight, but they do both fit into it. Yeah.
No, up higher than that.
Up higher than that.
Try the movie as a.
They call it. Okay, then. Standard bike gear. So basically, you roll that up, pretty much handlebar mount or back of the seat mount across, and set it up that way. Good idea. I like that. I do a pretty similar thing over the years using the British Army standard roll mat, and I always keep my bivy bag rolled up inside that. Again, because if I've got a casualty situation, the mat can come off, roll down, insulated from the ground, straight into the bivy bag, sorted. One of the techniques I've always done is if I'm setting up, especially in bad weather, it's pad down, bivy bag down, sleeping bag into the bivy bag, get into the bivy bag, then shuffle into the sleep system. And the great thing that what I found with the Wooby is you can do that. How does that work? How does that actually wrap itself around your body perfectly with a minimum of effort? For years, I've unzipped sleeping bag, got into a system, and then spent 5 minutes trying to turn things around me. And yet the Wooby, it seems every time I get into it, it just sort of goes, oh.
In fact, Derek, the day that the Wooby and that arrived, that night he used it in the bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. When I did the hammock camp the other night using the Wooby, right. So again, same thing, because I don't like to be zipped into a sleeping bag, and zipping yourself into a sleeping bag trying to get in and out of a hammock is a nightmare. Okay. So I've got the underquilt, and I took your tip, which was have it suspended above you. If it was a standard sleeping bag, you'd be fighting to get it tucked in. The Wooby, you sort of put it in place and it goes, and I'm just going to go around you.
Yeah.
Let me hug you.
Yeah, he's seen that he's got to stuff it, not roll it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a living organism. it just seems to want
like Katrina, take it easy, my love.
Like Katrina, it just wants to sort of hug you. And I find it an absolutely awesome bit of kit, and I'm using it and loving it. Yeah. Yeah. It's an amazing piece of kit.
I wonder why the British never did that. It's
stuck in their ways. I mean, let's face it. I mean, it's like I've spent years quandering why, if you're going to make an Arctic sleeping bag, okay, why we didn't go down the same route as the Germans and have an Arctic sleeping bag that is part sleeping bag, part bivy bag, i.e., It's a heavy waterproof material lining on the outside with a breathable panel on the top and sleeves. So you had a system. I mean, it was the German army used to call it as a sniper bag, because it meant you could get into the system. You could still operate your hands. You could still do things. You could sit in a bench. You could operate a radio inside an Arctic sleeping bag. You could clean. You can prepare a weapon. You can even be sitting in a high using that weapon whilst in an Arctic conditioned sleeping bag. Okay, so which means if you're going prone in a shooting position, right, you can get your head down. Your second man can watch and cover. Okay, obviously be alert enough to be able to wake up and go to roll. And I wondered for years why they would do it, but they didn't. They just, and don't get me wrong, the British Army sleeping bag's a good bit of kit. It's just bulky. Okay.
My phone's run out. My phone's run out of charge. It's been
lurker. Brilliant. They snap into the bivvy. And see that again, another simple design, isn't it? Yeah, it's just. I think what it is, it's like new uniforms, new combats, and things like that. They've listened to people, okay, and it's when your designers, your manufacturers, and your procurement department is listening to the guys on the ground and saying, what do you need, what works, what does not work, okay. Modern uniforms. I know a lot of people moan about MTP. They say don't like the pattern. I get that. It's a personal choice. Some people like red tops. Some people like green tops. It doesn't really matter. But the actual design of the kit is a lot better. The angling of the pockets, the fact that the pockets are angled so it's a natural sort of movement of the hand. The fact that you now have a pocket below the knee, that's an angle, that is a natural position that if you're a vehicle driver, okay, if you're in a seated position, it's an easy and natural way to get to somewhere where you have some kit, whether it be munchies, whether it be your smokes, whether it be your pad and pen, whether it be a piece of medical equipment. It's in a natural position for you to be able to reach. Whereas for years you had a thigh pocket, and you had your normal hip pockets and your back pocket. And if you were a driver or you were an operator, you bloody get to it. But now, by putting an angled pocket below the knee, so that it's easy access, it's simple, sensible ideas where somebody actually goes, what do you need? What would work? And somebody else goes, do you know what? If you had a pocket there at this angle, when I'm driving, when I'm operating this piece of machinery or this piece of equipment, I could get to that, and that would be the ideal place to keep my whatever you need. Same thing with the smocks, the angled pockets, the pockets in the arms, things like that. We've had pockets in the arms for years, but they were always stupid little narrow things. You couldn't put anything in. That was great for keeping a pen if you're an officer,
you throw yourself on the floor,
or a waller, but it was absolutely useless for the things you really wanted, like putting a first field dressing in, or putting a couple of spare snacks in for tabbing, or putting a bit of admin kit or a notepad or a pen or a compass in somewhere where that if you were prone, you could reach it and get to it because you were laying on your front. They're now thinking like that. Well, at the moment, they're thinking like that. And let's hope that progresses. Let's hope that the future soldiers and servicemen actually have people listen and look at what they actually physically require, rather than go, do you know what, that would look very smart, let's have that. Okay, because I still remember the stupidity of having to sew a crease into a woolly pulley, sew a crease into a woolly jumper.
All right, well,
bloody stupid is that? But that is because somebody thought that looked smart. No?
Only 2.5 hours.
But 2.5 hours, like bloody hell, nearly 2.5 hours.
Gas mask behind.
John, you're all right. There we go. John, you're after an MTB basher. Is that a British issue MTB basher? Yeah. If it is, don't panic. I will get you one and get one out to you. Yeah, I owe you that. Just let me know.
We'll put some brown sauce in with it.
MOD, right. John,
Right.
I will get that sauce to you and we will get that back out to you. Right, 1 MTP basher coming. Right, is there anything else that you require, my friend? Kaz is taking notes now as we speak. Is there anything else you need from British Kit that we can get you over here and get out there? Yeah, basically the bivvy, my top. Yeah, we will get that sorted for you, mate. I owe you that. Yeah, that's not a problem. We'll get that organised. Any other bits of kit from
we'll put some brown sauce in there for it.
Some brown sauce.
HP.
Remember, Dom, you've got to pronounce it correctly because, as I say, if you live in the United Kingdom, brown sauce is a London thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Especially HP because it's.
And so you've got to throw a bit of Cockney into it, and it has to be pronounced brown sauce. I have brown sauce on my sausages. Okay. I have brown sauce. That's it. You got it spot on, my friend. Brown.
Yeah, you'll notice. We'll send you a bottle of the HP. You'll get the plastic bottle.
Yeah.
And it's called HP sauce, which is probably one of the most popular and oldest one. And it's actually got the picture of the Houses of Parliament. That's why it's called HP sauce. Because
it was originally, the recipe was developed by the chef at the Houses of Parliament for the members of Parliament.
Yeah.
As a gentleman's chutney and relish, to be put upon certain dishes.
I like it on cold chicken. I like it on everything. Potatoes, a lot.
Oxo cubes, Yep. Hey, of course it's delicious. It's British,
Yes.
Yep.
So that's it. Right. Sauce that one.
Right, guys, we've gone a bit over tonight. Normally say about 2 hours. We're at 2 hours and 26. And that is because I've thoroughly enjoyed your company this evening. Pip, man.
We've talked about everything.
Jolly good. Remember, when squirting your HP sauce upon your dish of delight, you must put one finger out and squeeze the bottle gently in a circular motion. This must be spread evenly if you're a gentleman. Because remember, only a savage would blob it as sauces on.
You don't blob it, you squirt it, you go.
See? It's not a gentleman. Yes,
I'm not a gentleman.
Yes.
I have bazooks.
Yes. Hang on, I've got a love heart over it. Grey poupon. No, grey poupon. Not sure what that is, Derek. Not sure what it is.
I shall email you and find out what that is.
Common sense, no. And of course, you've got to remember, if you're a sophisticated gentleman, you must not move the jawbone, just the lips connect.
Oh, it's obviously American.
I should look that up.
Yes, we'll YouTube that one.
Yes, we'll YouTube that one, Derek. Yes. Yeah. So, guys, thank you so much for your support. Okay. I know I said it last week because that was the anniversary, but I'm saying it again.
Okay, Willow.
Thank you so much. Dijon mustard. Right.
Yes, there is a gas mask up there as well.
Yeah, I have a couple of gas masks. I have the... one egg.
No, that's not a gas mask.
Respirator. Make it out. So,
yes,
this is the classic British issue S10 respirator, as seen at the Embassy Siege. Okay, normally would have a filter screwed on the side.
And it has also, that one has been on his motorbike.
It's had a bit
on
of
the
damage
headlight.
on the front. It normally had a filter pad over there, but it had some damage over the years. And what do we buy? Pretty much such. Now, it wasn't a bad job because the filter could be put on either side. So you could put one filter on it, which meant you could put the filter on the opposite side of your weapon system and obviously engage your weapon system's cheek. This is a new system, or newer system, which I tried. Luke, I am your son. I acquired that one for working in the forge, and the reason I acquired this
Steve.
one is it's actually got. Sorry,
Steve's going.
All right, Steve. Take it easy, my friend. Have a great one. Look after yourself.
Night, in.
I acquired this one for working in the forge when I'm working with chemicals, because it's got a triple filter system in it. It's actually got two filters, one each side, and then it has an internal filter in the centre there that can be replaced. So it actually gives me a lot more protection when I'm working with chemicals. You can get them in the army surplus.
Darth Vader in the house.
And they are damned expensive. Okay, now.
The Star Wars massive.
Personally, I found a problem with it for shooting as a weapon, or using a weapon. And that is the filter.
Lightly, take it easy, have a good week.
Although the filter is brilliant, gets in the way. Anyhow, people are slipping off.
Yeah.
Time to wind it up. Ladies and gentlemen, from Hampshire, in Surrey, in England, okay? Or Hampshire, sorry, from Farnborough, in Hampshire, in England, in the United Kingdom.
In the man cave.
In the man cave. I would like to thank you all. Thanks for all the support I've had. Thanks for all the best wishes. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for all the comments. I appreciate them all. From all of us here at Hampshire Outdoors and Survival, so that's me, the lovely Kaz, the little Willow, Mac, and Jason. Okay, we're all people that help me to do this. Okay, in one way or another, and give me support. We'd like to say big thank you, thumbs up. Okay, look after yourselves.
Night, Gary.
Have an absolutely awesome week wherever you are. If you're a YouTube a creator, crack on, guys. Have fun, and have fun doing it. For those of you with new endeavours, new adventures, I wish you all the best, and I wish you all the love. If there's anything I can do to help support you, let me know.
Gary, we'll sort out some maintenance of the axes and
we
knives.
Will. Kaz is making notes, some ideas, so that will give us bits for other videos, which we will do. I'll probably do that, and that'll be handy for me, Gary, because I've got to look at a couple of videos. I mean, weather's going to turn bad. I'm not going to always feel up to getting out in the bad weather. So that gives me a video I can do from home, from here, from the man cave, and show you the processes I go through to look after my kit. So thank you very much for that. That's a brilliant idea for a foul day. Guys,
Good night, all.
Have your adventures. Look after yourself.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. Right. Love those you do. Forgive those you don't. And as always, peace and light be upon you all. Thank you all so much, and have an absolutely awesome and great week. I'll give it just a couple of minutes, just in case any of you want to say goodbye to one another on there. Finish my cigar, and then
let Willow out of the cage and let him
have
Willow.
fun. We're going to have rice pudding for supper, aren't we?
It'll take a long time to do for a while. I want hot.
Yeah, hot.
But yeah, have a great week, everyone, and we'll catch you next weekend for another instalment of the pub doors are being open, and all are welcome.
Lee Michael Knight will open my door. Cheers.
Willow's in the house. This is John put this.
Ian, thank you very much, my friend. Take care. Box and Wars, please, Derek,
in the house.
My friend, take care. Have an awesome week. John,
stay away from the Widowmakers.
yes, definitely watch out for those willow makers. It's been an awesome. Well, I finished to a week, a long week, but finished on a high. Absolutely brilliant. All right, Mickey out. Love you.
Me too.